there at the meeting.
What makes it legal is the three of us, but you also count, Al.
So go ahead, proceed.
Okay, so we'll call the meeting to order. First up is One Depot Square. You guys want to come up and talk to us?
Sure. Well, Ford, you're on. Yeah. I'm Ford Wallace, Scopeland, what you want to call me.
Okay.
Always go back forward to fulfill it. And it's one syllable. If you're in the south, if you're in the Atlantic, it's three. Okay. In Atlanta, you are forward. And here, so we submitted this first, which you have there. And this is our.
That's the new.
This is the new. We went by the guidance of mostly Al. I think the major obstacle was the elaborate decor on the exterior of the building. This is a greenhouse, 25 by 50. It is all glass, thermal. And the original that we just invent last time we were here would look like this. So it did have a lot of extra and elaborate, which is, you know, in the Queen and form of this style. So what we have gone back and done is remove all the extra that seemed to be the main obstacle on this. And through the guidance of all of the other boards that we have seen, the one that was most, I mean, we've all signed off on, all the other boards have signed off on everything that we've complied to with them. And so we are back here. Al said to go get them to approve it first. And then once they got approved, then we'd be back here. So wanted to see elevation. We have full elevations, front, back, for this side and back. This gives you every elevation you possibly need up here. This is the ends. Here. And this last request that we got in a couple weeks ago was to compare the elevations of the restrooms and the existing building. This shows the elaborate decor because I had to actually hand do this because I got this DWG file from China. They don't do that. So this is why you see it all in here. But these are the elevations. This is at 57. This, the highest elevation on this is at 18 feet. However, that includes the 2 feet of this little.
This is 22 feet.
I'm sorry, yeah, this is 20.
Yeah, that's
20 feet, sorry, yeah. So we're at 15.5 on the main structure here, and this is 14.
7.6 at the little finials that.
Yeah. What happens is they actually even call it 18, and we're really at 55. This is a very small, as you'll see in some of the other.
Scale with me. You know where the building ends before the roof line are? What that gym is?
That elevation is 8, 9.
No, couldn't be.
No, I mean, you're talking about this bottom down or
this one.
here? Do you have it on yours?
It's the E before the roof pitches back.
Yeah. It's gonna be here. That we were talking about this part right here.
Yeah, this
Similar to the roof line of
For the bottom of this roof.
Al, do you have these drawings? You have the drawings?
But the top of the
You're on
building.
these.
Just the roof pitches back, so I think this is the base you sort of experienced before the roof line shifts. So it's all good. It's just data points that are helpful. Yeah, it's all good. And then this fence is actually the railroad fence now.
That's the
They're not showing or
The
Or your
front,
car.
the
That's
front
fine.
fence is our front fence, and then this is the rail fence. Um. It's gotta be, I mean, if we're looking at 14 here,
you don't have to focus on it. I didn't know. Yeah, there's a lot to go through, so let's keep on going.
okay, yep. We're asked to provide an overhead of the setbacks by the planning board, which we did. We did need to get a variance, because this is 10 and they approved that variance.
This fence is proposed to stay exactly the same
It is.
and just get into the corner of the
The
building.
building, it does. We wanted to do that so that this would be the only entrance into the patio. This is a exit. And this is the main entrance, and there's a service entrance back here. That suffices with the roughly 80 that we see. This setback is exactly the same as the building. Because the building has no setback on this. And being that Greg owns all of it. He owns all the property to
Right.
the next, not in here. Then yours? Concerns of how the buildings react to each other. Something that was really important. Lighting was very important. What we did was the majority of the lighting that you see reflected in the trees are coming from the street light.
The roof of the structure is,
There's no lighting on the roof.
the roof is solid steel as proposed.
Solid, yeah, it's an aluminum, cast. But there is no lighting above the eave of the, gut. It's all down lighting, which we'll get to. Again, showing just streetscape and how the buildings react to each other. All these trees are existing exactly as they are now. The setbacks are the same. I think they have an overhead. Well, the overhead, we'll show you. You have an overhead, don't you, on yours? Oh, on this one. The original, yeah. It will mainly. So this is where we're at right now. So this is the setback of the restaurant building. This is the setback of the new. And we wanted to stay consistent with those two. Sidewalk, we have a little overhang of the roof on this, but that's pre-existing. This was an original he has a,
Yeah.
if he has a number. Then I remember on the original one, but yeah, that's where we got, that's where we are with the setback, and that's why we could have, avoided the needing of variance on the back if we just moved the building forward. But we thought it was better to keep the buildings in alignment than to move the new building forward, which would then comply with our, and not needing a variance for the setback.
Yeah, your front yard, side yards are kind of confusing, right? Because there's a,
Yeah,
easement for the road.
yeah, because there isn't really, with the train station being there is no backyard, because we are, the restaurant sits on the property line
Yeah.
from the back. And then in the front, it sits on the property line. Like what? Front of the building here.
Oh, it's,
I mean,
okay,
it's a foot, maybe a foot or two off.
and that's where that corner is on the L, got it.
So just trying to keep in consistent, this was, again, was something that was requested by this board, was to see how we work with streetscape. And how this is the restaurant, that's our new building. And as far as elevations go, there's not a whole lot of, we're not any higher or lower than any of this. It's better up, yeah. This is from Main Street, looking back on Depot Square. So this is our new structure.
Can you talk a little bit about the historic context of the train station and what's there now and how it relates to the new?
Sure. So the building, the train station was built in 1889 and it was finished. There is no known architect for the building. It is built in the Victorian strike. And there is a Renaissance to it as well. One of the things about the original building is that it's stated in a number of books that I read about it, is that the building was finished to the standards that it could operate, but no elaboration was ever done to it because Cold Springs couldn't afford it. It doesn't mean that it coulda or shoulda or woulda. They just didn't have it.
Just did.
Yeah. So with us trying to somehow keep in context with that building actually is not really, has never reached its full potential. You know, it's like saying we,
That can be debated.
well, I mean, it's, you have exactly the same building in Peekskill, and it has a lot of very elaborate,
Sure.
and it's the same structure, which also doesn't have a named architect. And it's mostly just has to do with money.
Homeowners.
Yeah, but yeah, it was interesting that that some of them do have named architects. This one. And again, what I'm trying to give to you is how the building doesn't really affect and how it actually does enhance the neighborhood. It's a Queen Anne Victorian greenhouse. This unfortunately shows that the decor that we have removed. These, by the way, are really easy to have to eliminate them because they're just bolted on. And the way we will receive it is the front page of what I showed. What else? This is a night scan of the building.
Can we also, just with the building itself, it's sort of, as a train station, it has signage, et cetera. Can we talk about other elements currently existing on the site that relate to the train station as a historic monument?
You're talking about the Cold Spring sign and the Washington Monument.
Yeah, that stuff.
Yeah, when we would move them to where the village would like.
They're not part of this prop. They just got dropped off.
200 years.
Well, no, the monument,
The Washington Monument was just put there.
When?
No idea.
it's not historically in place on that property. It's just like the flagpoles was put in the 1960s. It's not
But you're-
historic.
What are you basing that off of? How do you know that?
Um,
It says it's erected in the 1800s.
Which part?
The monument that says erected by the Sons of Washington.
Well, the thing to keep in mind as far as the monument is that it sits astride the stream, which is the cold spring that the village is named after. That's why it was placed in that location.
I've always
Right
been.
now, it's buried, it's in a culvert.
Behind the bandstand, kind of by the flagpole, yeah.
You've been at that property. How many places has it been?
It's been there, but I have no idea for how long.
It's been on the property, but moved around the property.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know at some point Tom moved it. I mean, Tom did whatever he wanted to do.
It's never, as far as I know, it's never had a designated place that,
I think that is something that would for sure need to be clearer. It exists on the property and no one in this room can definitively say when it was placed there, but it's been there for many, many decades and it is something from 1893. So that's what Kate's kind of, I
Yeah,
think,
just
referencing the
concerned
importance
they-
of that.
The marker for the village.
yeah, I mean, we
Origins.
would never have any issue making it more, I mean, where it sits right now is behind a bunch of trees and sitting on a rock.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's behind
well,
that gazebo, so if you. I
off
mean,
to the
At
side.
the moment, that station obviously doesn't, not obviously, but I don't think that you're obligated to keep it as sort of a public park, but it has become somewhat of a public park and that stone and the monument is accessible when you're in the gazebo or on those two benches.
On his property.
Yeah, so I'm not saying it has to be a park, but it's definitely there
Yeah,
and it's not,
I'm just curious about where I know you're saying the stream's a culvert now, but where that runs? Because when we talked about this last meeting, it was that we would donate to the village and that seemed agreeable at the time.
something.
The stone itself, the monument.
Which meeting?
Last time we were here.
I was
We
not
didn't
present.
discuss that monument at all. You're here.
If you go to the other side of the tracks, you'll see where the stream comes out. That and also, I think if you go up, there is a stream that runs through the properties on the west of Depot Square, and that's where it starts. I mean, the stream is there and it continues to run through that area. And when we have floods, that does in fact make itself known.
so what year is that monument?
1893.
Greg, if I could, I mean, it may be an opportunity, since there's more connection with that stream.
Mhm.
We could put that monument in a place that
Yeah.
celebrates it. And we
Yeah,
got a
that's-
plaque that describes. the
Yeah, I
lives
agree.
there.
That's what I was wondering, is if it was just, we could put it in a more prominent location. If
Yeah.
that stream is right at the base of Main
If we
Street
put it in this area here,
or on the corner, yeah.
it'd be, right, between where the bike rack is.
Yeah, on the corner of Main and Depot.
It would have obviously much more visible. And we've never had an issue with keeping it. The building was, this building was built in 1897.
Yeah, it's older than I was.
So it's early, it's after the line. So it has, the monument is younger than the actual building. It's also, this building is younger than the original deed that applies to
The
the
station building.
No, it applies to the throughway.
Which one?
The street. Right now that it sits on a rock like right over here. This is something that was requested by planning, that we have drainage for this, and we have a better showing of this drainage here. In lighting, this is the only lighting that we have. And I'll show you, that explains all the lighting as well.
The lighting too, it would be good. Well, I don't know what to focus on. There's a few things, but there'll be interior lighting presumably. So light loads at night and what that looks like, I think is really important since it's a glass box.
Actually, one of them showed you, or I showed you earlier, it showed the lighting on one side. This is lighting on the other side.
I think we talked about the lumens from the streetlights are much brighter than what that would produce.
That's what I was saying, that the lighting per se is coming from this, more lighting is coming from the streetlights than any of the lighting that's in here. There's nothing in this building that is over 650 lumens. And all of them
When you
are,
add all of the lights up.
and all of them are
Outside.
facing down,
Yeah.
yeah. This is tempered glass. Obviously, the amount of glass is going to affect the streetscape, and that's why I produced this drawing, so you see at night that the streetlights produce more light than an actual building would produce.
Okay, that's helpful. The calcs will be good to see as well. Where's the signage on this, the depot signage?
There's no sign.
But where it exists currently, so are you just?
On this building, on the depot,
The historic,
The Cold Spring sign?
there's one that I think the depot sign hangs from currently. And then there's the Cold Spring sign below.
Like Cold Springs, the big.
There's that one that's low and against the fence, and then there's a
Yes.
tall
Yeah,
one
here.
that the sign hangs off of, that Todd
Right there.
now has a sign also on.
That was just the sign pole that was put up. Are you talking about,
The cold, this right.
oh, that right there?
That one, and then that as well, I'm curious about,
That,
but that definitely is.
that one, yeah, I mean, we probably try to figure out a way to move that, but have it somewhere close by.
actually, the one that is bigger and more important is this. Yeah,
Well, not being sick, and it's,
Yeah. it sits up against, it basically sits up against this fence right here. And we have no plans on moving.
But the one that Todd just pointed out, you don't have a plan for that one yet.
No, it's if you can call it historic, I don't know.
But yeah, so where on this picture does spring emerge?
I've never seen this spring, that's why I was asking Al.
Yeah, I was trying to.
Al, the spring emerges from the ground. Are you saying it emerges on the other side of the tracks? You're on mute.
Yes, it emerges from the ground on the property, which is on the west side of the tracks. The first block,
On Market Street.
I'm trying to think of the,
The Brass Monkey just moved from there, the brick building.
say that again?
The brick building that the Brass Monkey was in recently.
No, that used to be the old the village garage. It's the one that is north of that.
north of that, the residence.
Oh,
I mean, as far as
There's a
the
couple
monument is
private-
concerned, as far as these two signs that you're talking about, we have no issue at all with having them be established. This one, we had no, reason to move it. The one that is the freestanding pole one has moved around a little bit. And the monument, we're happy to put it wherever
Yeah, but the,
you need.
seems like, I'm curious of where you have all the drainage right at the bottom of Main Street for Depot and Main come together, right?
Yeah.
Does that have something to do with the stream? Do we,
That's more like
No, no.
over paved roads and runoff,
Yeah.
so.
I was just curious, because it could kind of go right on top of it somehow.
No, as a matter of fact, that's something that you should probably check out because ultimately it'll affect your foundations for this structure.
Yeah, it's just. It goes into an underground.
That's why I've never seen it. That's why I'm kind of confused that, I honestly thought that was kind of like, they put it there because it just seemed to go there easily.
I mean, even if the stream is no longer there, it was once there, and that's right of the monument. Here,
Well,
so-
Well, the train station used to be on the other side of the train tracks
What,
also.
I mean, if it's, like I said, if we put that, if we moved it to the corner of Depot Main where the bike rack is now, in a more prominent position, still, I'm just curious about what, if there is.
Right, it's the small corridor between the visitor center and the playground building, which is back of house for you. And the back of house is not Main Street, because that's not your frontage. It's oddly side yard, because your frontage is, is your road, right? That's itself, and so it's like a little bit anomalous, but it feels like that, that area is not an elevated space. It's like so I don't know the answer, but I think it's okay important. To even debate it at all. And before, I'm sure other people have comments on this board, but before we spend too much time discussing the design itself, I think the building for me, I appreciate how you do want to elevate the space and make a more beautiful building. On your website, it even says that this is like an addition to the Colburn train station. Right, it's like, it's the Colburn train station is a historic monument that's valued for its name and for its place making. And this building, to me, feels like it diminishes the train station. And I'm not sure what the right solution to that is, but while it's a nod to the boundary, it's not this is, you can get into sort of the value of historic preservation and sort of how Americans view it versus how Chinese view it, and in China, it's all about the celebration, and it doesn't have to be historically accurate. It's more about the facade, and there's a book that Palmieri wrote that talks about villagers and villages in China where people sort of dress up and create like a Disney-esque version of historic preservation, and they're cool with it. I think here we're much more sort of pure to the materiality and where that's sourced from and the tectonics, and this feels like it's not respecting, even though I respect that it's a nice looking building, but it's not respecting those elements that I think are vital to the history of the village and the history of the building. So I'm not, again, sure where that leaves us, but it concerns me.
I have to agree with Kate on this, and the fact that you mentioned the comparing this train station to the one in Peekskill, and that one's much finer and more elegant. And if this building is a offset of that, it doesn't really represent the context of where we were then when that building was designed, when we were a true working industrial town that didn't have the means, apparently, to have a fancy train station.
So in that, this building, although it is train station, although it is in a historic district, it is not considered a historic significant building. Everywhere that I've read, it is not a historic contributing building, nor does it have any elements to it that you would define as having specific historic other than it just exists.
I have to agree that hasn't been nominated as a separate historic structure, but if you look at the legislation dealing with the district, it is our responsibility to ensure that any changes to any of the structures within the district be appropriate to the district. And I think that's what we're struggling with right now, is that there is a certain ambiance that the village has always had, and we just have to make sure that any changes that are made conform to that ambiance, to that overall aesthetic, and that's what we're struggling with. So whether the structure itself is historic or not, and I have to, the definition of what is historic, you can argue both ways. This is obviously a building that was built, that has been key to the functioning of this village ever since it was put up. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would echo all of that. I think on its own, I think it's a very nice looking structure. It feels to me that it would be more appropriate on the grounds of a large estate, often a field on Boscobel's property. On our guidelines, when we talk about new construction on page 18, we say new structures are not required to rigidly mimic an existing style. Local patterns or collections within the district should be reinforced, not disrupted or interrupted by new elements. New construction, including garages and accessory buildings, shall be sympathetic to district context and size, scale, massing, siting style, and character. I think that, as Kimberly said, our little train station doesn't have any embellishments to it as others might, but in a way that is what makes it different and special. All of the surrounding buildings, including directly across the street, if you look at historic photos of that building that is now in serious disrepair for many decades, it was built and it looked like a stable back then. There was no ornamentation to any of these buildings down there. So the entire area of the village was very utilitarian. And again, we can't, as I've learned over the years, tell you what to do or how to design something. But I think feels like we're all on the same page that this, as it's designed, does not feel like it suits the property in such a prominent location. And as far as the train station being a contributing or non-contributing building, it's hard to think of another building in the last 150 years that probably played as big a role in the village as that building, as the train station.
So when we get to, are there photographs of the building there?
The coin.
Yeah, the front building.
Yeah.
So when we are dealing with, because we're not happy with the building at all.
You're what?
We're not happy with this building at all. When it has a caboose for train that was added in.
The caboose was put in because when it was a car dealership, they made that a garage door. So they cut a big hole in it.
And there was an old gas pumps I've seen also out front as
There
well.
were,
Yeah.
There used to be 3 Depot Square and 5 Depot Square, right? There were 2 buildings that have slowly got sort of merged together. We have these historic, these building inventory forms you can get.
Sure.
So this little guy was 5 Depot Square.
So
You still have it, it's just,
It's kind of just joined,
yeah.
morphed into.
And then this one.
so they flattened the roof on that and just left it there.
Yeah, so these were done in the 80s by Columbia University. This one's 81, and then the other
Well,
75.
I mean, I do think that it's that the depot has changed so many times over the years and been so many different things. So it has always evolved. I am curious now, are you folks objecting to the greenhouse in general, or just do you still think it's too ornate? Going from the first time we were here, is that was the main thing about it, was that it's too ornate.
And there was no mention of it, how it interacted necessarily in a negative way with this bill. Now, just to be honest.
There was, just to be,
Okay,
I wasn't here for that meeting.
we can look back, but.
okay.
hopefully we'll find that.
Our intention, just to lay everything out, is our intention is not to stop at the greenhouse. Our intention is to upgrade this building, so we don't have a caboose. So that we take this building, to what it really should have been, could have been.
And a lot of that means cleaning all of this under roof up, getting these windows back that have all been blacked out, which includes on this side as well. I mean, coming from the person who owns this building and lives in this building, it needs a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it really does. And so that's when we're talking about these things, it's like it needs a lot of love.
Yeah.
And I think where you're talking about the bigger idea that they would match up when the whole thing would be done.
This is the greenhouse is step one in the elevation of the entire property.
Yeah, I don't think we can really consider future
Sure.
plans as much as I wish that we could.
But our argument is that what you are saying that it's too different from this building is that we're trying to take this building and elevate it so that.
Well, I will tell you right now that will not be a successful endeavor if you're planning a lot of embellishments
All right,
to the original.
We just get,
Yeah.
let's get back to the greenhouse. Are you, the same question, are we objecting to how ornate it still is in your minds, or the whole thing in general?
I think it's more of respecting the historical context of the street and the fact that this is an industrial town. It was built and it actually is significant that that building is not ornate
Mhm.
because it reflects what Cold Spring
Okay.
is.
I will say just, and then I would like to hear from Al, but as I unfortunately was not at that meeting, but I did look at the plans when they were submitted back then. And that is the very first thing that came to mind as, wow, that's a beautiful structure, but I can't quite wrap my head around how it makes sense in this space as it relates to the original structure, the train station, across the street, all of the surrounding properties. So that was my kind of, from the beginning, my feeling. Al, do you have any?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the critical thing for me is that all of the various elements that we're dealing with need to be accommodated. For example, if we move the monument, the rock monument, where does it go? If you're going to move that railroad sign, which I think was probably the original to the station, where does that go? And I think that one of the things I have to agree that I don't think we have any objection to something being added there, but I think that it may be a little bit too much, too large in scale with respect to the restaurant itself. So I think that a more comprehensive assessment and design of the site is really what is lacking at this point. To answer your question, I don't think we have an objection to you adding an enclosure for your restaurant business, but I think that it needs to be handled a little bit more subtly and distinctly, rather than just dropping this large, essentially a greenhouse, and that's what it looks like, a greenhouse, and turning it into seating for a restaurant.
One One other just very small component is the white picket fence that's connecting the train station to this potential add-on. I think that is would need to evolve in some capacity to tie these things.
We have no issue with that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure given the scale of what's being proposed, I'm
the
sure.
pergola that was the white pergola that was there for how many years?
Yeah, I was there a long time.
It was a white plastic
Yeah,
pergola
I
that,
remember it.
an arbor, a
Yeah.
white plastic arbor that you entered.
That feels like an important element of how these two things relate to each other and tie in.
That's fine.
That's what we're really trying to accomplish, and that is, it has been taken so far, and been allowed to be taken so far, that we're trying to get it back.
Yeah.
And so trying to compare to what has been, really negative things done to this building that take and take away from the historical significance, a caboose, a car dealership, gas pumps, you name what hasn't been done to this building. And all of it has been done to the detriment of the building. So comparing a nice looking greenhouse that you, as you put it, for additional seating, rather than a beat up gazebo and a monument on a rock, we're trying to elevate the entire property. And so we're trying to get this back. So by saying this is too ornate for something that, because it's a disaster.
I think even before it was a disaster, it was a very plain and simple,
building.
humble structure, utilitarian, right? There was, the purpose of it was to keep people dry and warm when they're waiting for a train and buy tickets. I mean, that's simply what it was when it was constructed.
Right.
So I definitely don't think we are in no means stuck to the way that it has fallen into disrepair. I think all of us would love to see it restored and brought back to
Replanted,
life. I
yeah.
think that would be an amazing contribution to the community for sure. So we're definitely not hung up on like, no, it has to stay the way that it looks now.
Right.
But as even once it is restored, it will still be a very simple structure at its heart. So that's, I think, the big thing here.
Yeah, I mean, one of the articles that I was reading about really talks about the reason why it didn't have outdoor seating, glass enclosed outdoor seating, like other of the same era, built at the same time, because Cold Spring couldn't afford it. And it says surely that it was money.
Yeah, and I think, but to that point, and this is something that there has been disagreement on this board and prior versions of this board, are a lot of the housing stock in the village is very tiny, very simple, very utilitarian, and people have wanted to make alterations and additions and changes to that. And you know, the same argument could have been used in those instances too. You know, oh, the original owner didn't have enough money to build a bigger house. But this is where we are, right? That the house that was built is what it is because of the time and the context
what
of the
it
community.
is.
Yeah.
The thing that comes to mind as we're talking about what the whole square looks like is the whole thing has been in disrepair for a long time. I mean, and I know that the building across the street, he's considering changes, trying to figure it out, but I just don't know how much of that, the historical context is even still there. And I'm not saying that you have to disregard it altogether, but it's gotten so bad so fast now. It's like, I mean, you look at that building, it doesn't say anything about a historic building there.
Across the street from
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
But
And
believe it or not, it actually didn't.
It does,
It-
look at these garages and it was, I mean,
It
there's
was
no.
a very simple structure.
But it's still, I mean, the original, I'm sure you've seen the original pictures with had some wood facade and, you know,
Yeah, there were
more
beams.
yeah, now you got
stuff, and-
just vinyl siding, it's
Yeah.
falling off and
Oh, yeah,
I'm just,
it has cattle.
I'm just saying how trying to figure out the context of what things should look like when they're so far gone from what they used to look like.
I think
This
that,
is a beautiful building. This is your building.
Mhm.
This is when it was the train station.
Sure.
And just.
It doesn't look like that now.
No, but it can. The bones are still there. It will be so gorgeous.
Right, but what you're saying is that we can't,
no, we're not.
I think we're not, that building's not what we're actually talking about with
Right.
this situation
Yeah.
right now, right?
Right.
So getting back to this, that it, certainly from the last time we were here, it seemed like the building itself was somewhat agreeable and it was just a little too ornate. And it seems like we've kind of regressed from there, and I think we're both kind of struggling with.
I think that's why I at least had a hard time reviewing it at that time, because it felt soon to, but I understand sometimes things are in parallel, and so the level of ornateness was definitely discussed as well as
this
the,
is the, this is
as
the.
well as
Sure.
as well as the authenticity of the structure and how it's created and how it relates back to Cold Spring. Those were discussed, but wasn't discussed with the monument because it wasn't mentioned. And so I think all of those things definitely play a part in the conversation. I agree with Al that something can exist in the future.
Mhm.
I do. Just. I don't think it's
Al,
Yeah, hang on. Let me go off of. Okay, I'm not muted. I guess my comment is that you guys are talking about how bad a shape that other buildings on Depot Square are, and that you really need to do something drastic to spruce it up. And I have to disagree. I mean, I've seen Depot Square for a long time, and realistically, it's really hasn't changed significantly. I mean, that caboose that you guys keep talking about, I mean, that's been there ever since I can remember. The apartment complex across the street from you, they've just gone through a whole bunch of renovations and they've really cleaned up that entire complex. The what was the
talking about
former.
behind the garage building. Is that right? The stone structure that's
Oh, no,
the
you're talking about-
apothecary?
You're just talking about on the
On Main
on the
Street.
east side of Depot Square, right when you turn on there.
Oh, in the corner.
Yeah, she has upgraded that. Yes.
Right.
The building
And
next
the
door.
thing is,
Sorry.
right, the sandwich shop which you now own, I mean, that's been upgraded. That has gone through several iterations. And the thing is that none of that really should be surprising because that's part of the evolution of how things change. And realistically, whether you have a huge greenhouse or something a little bit smaller is not going to make a difference to the overall impression. Well, I take it back, and that's an incorrect statement. I think that what you do will not have an impact on the adjacent properties. It will. The issue becomes whether or not it is appropriate. It fits in with the overall tenor and style of the village in that particular area, and I think that's what we're looking to preserve as much as possible.
I'm still somewhat confused about what if we were gonna just skip all what would work or what you think wouldn't work. What we're talking about.
Well, let me just toss out, and then I'll defer to my colleagues who actually showed up. I think that possibly a smaller structure would be more appropriate. I think that you need to figure out exactly what you're going to do with all of those historic elements, which are important to the story of Cold Spring. I mean, the monument is a documentation for how the village got its name. And I think that a lot of the sign, I would say, is probably part of the original train station, because obviously where the depot restaurant is in fact where the train used to stop. So, there are a bunch of things which I think are important, and how are they dealt with is something which I don't see in the documents that we've seen. It's basically fairly uh, stripped down version or a view of these buildings. So I turn it over to you guys.
Can I say that, our last meeting here, we left here with the understanding that there wasn't any issue about the size. The monument was never mentioned as far as being placement of it. No, do we have any issue about where the monument goes? It's a rock with a sign on it. We can put it anywhere that would seem appropriate. What we were told was that this design in particular was way too ornate and if we were to simplify it, that we would be in the right direction. And that is everything that we have done.
Well, that's right, and it would be in the right direction, but we didn't say that, all you have to do is remove some of the ornamentation and we would automatically approve it. I mean, there are a lot of things that go into the appropriate design. And you keep talking about the monument, but the monument was never raised before. But now that you're showing, and the other thing to keep in mind is that we didn't know if you had, if there were any zoning issues as far as lot coverage. So all of those issues needed to be addressed before we got down to what the design really entails.
The monument and the sign, by the way, was post-meeting research done by board members to walk down and look at the property. So it was not brought up by either party. Again, I was not at that meeting, and it wasn't also brought up on this proposal. So it does go both ways. It is an important piece of history, and it was not brought up in your application, just for the record.
It was in your zoning application, but not in.
I mean, there's also, we're just talking about that if it just moved down slightly, you're still in the same area. I mean, the other thing I have to look at is, I don't know if do you know if it actually sits on
rock.
on my property or not?
Yes.
I mean, that line's right there.
It might be on
MTA.
MTA.
The bandstand is on your property, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I don't know if we're just saying the same thing, but if we treat those elements as important as this building, then likely they'll be on a site plan and considered in place.
We have no issue with that
So
at all.
that's a step, that's a huge step.
None whatsoever.
This is certainly less lavish than this, and so I think that's heading in the right direction. It's just not there yet. And the scale becomes an issue now that we have perspectival renderings. It's helpful to understand the scale. So I think
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that was brought up of the actual scale.
This also, I think it's important is just like why I want to do that. And it's a matter of, I don't want to sound dramatic, but it's survival of the business. We're in a place now where business is not what it used to be. And one of the things that Cold Spring doesn't have is a place for people to gather and have a rehearsal dinner, have a small wedding, have a place to go, and something that I could offer to offset a terrible winter like we just had that I'm still paying off right now.
programmatically, you can find a building that meets that need and is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I totally think that there's something that could work for this space that will work for that program, that need, and it will be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So it's less size in your mind?
I think the height of this is unnecessary. I think the size could be, yeah, adjusted just with that. But I do have an issue with it being prefab China structure when it's purporting to be historic cold spring. It's too Disney for me.
Well, I mean, the other thing is just the economical point of it. If you're talking about a building, you know, I mean, there's just, and this is where we get into, well, then nothing can really happen. Because I certainly can't afford to say I'm going to build, because if you're talking about something even smaller than that, that's going to cost you $500,000 to build. Obviously nobody knows, but it's significantly more money. We're just getting to the point where then nothing happens.
Well, it's concerning to me that the design of that greenhouse from China would dictate future renovation and upgrades to the train station.
Yeah.
I think just, again, I will repeat that I wasn't here, and if I was, my opinion really has not changed from that point to now. I do appreciate that it is a little less ornate, but it feels visually that it dominates the site when compared to the original train station structure. It diminishes that original structure on the property. I don't know what the answer is to that question.
We specifically chose a building in the Queen Anne style, whatever country it's built in. If we were to have a building built in this country, we would want to build a building that looked like this.
Origin doesn't, that's less of a thing. I do kind of the Disneyfied version of something, I think hits home a little bit. Origin of construction less so for me. So I hear what you're saying about that for sure.
And it's specifically designed in Victorian style. It's Queen Anne Victorian.
I just keep going back to it's almost like it kind of feels like you'd rather just nothing happen. And I know you're going to say no. It's just from my perspective, I'm saying, hey, if you start talking about that kind of project and something like I can't afford to do that, and then it puts a stop to all of it.
I think as an architect, I've been in a situation before where you get down a road with a vision, and that's the vision, and the idea that it would be something else feels impossible. Like what, I kind of describing this is what it is, but if you start with a clean slate, there are lots of different versions of something that can exist on a site. And sometimes it's just not the version you start with, and it's a really hard band-aid to peel off. But once you do it, I think you can see that there are other options out there.
I'm the architect on this, and I thought from our last meeting here that we were on the right path. That all we needed to do was, this building was not, it was not discussed that this was not something that even,
Or that it was too big.
or that it was.
Where we are now. So discussing what was then and sort of rehashing that isn't beneficial to our time constraints.
Well, we've been through zoning and everybody has agreed on.
Yeah, I mean, again, from my perspective, it means going back and spending a bunch more money to do all these things again. And, we just keep going back. It's like it costs a lot of money to do these things. And when I thought we were going down the right track and they're saying we're not, like, hey, is that worth spending all that money again?
Even at that meeting, I think I said, I don't necessarily want to discuss this. It feels so early, so premature. It makes me so anxious to discuss such an important building without more information. And I'm not sure, like, I guess we can comment on this and I guess on that. And that's exactly why, because we knew that I knew it would feel more real to you the longer we waited. And so I'm sorry, but it's the process, and it's
Yeah,
but
I think that the thing that you guys need to keep in mind is the fact that at the last meeting when we actually went over this, we knew it was just, a very high level evaluation because you had your zoning issues to get resolved, and that could have had drastic changes to the size. And you keep talking about the impact on you, but ultimately we're talking about something that if it gets built, it's something that we have to live with. And that is the whole point of our review board, is to make sure that whatever does in fact gets built is appropriate to the district. That's what we're trying to do.
So Al, how would you,
And-
we're
and
at
it-
30 now, so it's
it-
been an hour. How would you propose moving forward here so we can continue on?
Well, what we can do is, we're at the stage where we can take a couple of courses or courses of action. One is that you can say, this is our submission, and we vote on it. And I don't think the result is going to be very favorable. The second would be that, would be that we know that this is going to have to go to a public hearing. And but we can sit and talk about things that we would like for you to address, and we can take a look at it and see if we feel it's ready for a public hearing. And that is what I would recommend to you guys. I don't know about other board members, or do you feel that we have enough information to provide input? Yes, no?
To provide input on the current design?
Yes, on the design that has been submitted today.
I think we've been providing input so far. I mean, specific design,
Well,
advice
yeah, and the thing is that I've been in the design business long enough. We can tell you what our concerns are, but ultimately, design is requires taking various inputs and putting them together. And it's not like, we're not going to sit there and say, this overhang needs to be 2 inches bigger, or that needs to be, 6 inches wide. We're going to give you overall impression, and then you guys need to work that out, for the whole site. So, going back to other board members, do we feel that we can provide input? Or do we
I've
want
said
to?
what my opinions are and my concerns are. I don't
Okay.
have anything further
Okay,
to add.
okay.
at this
Yeah,
What-
I feel the same. I think, I've articulated the concerns that I have and areas that would need more focus for this. to be-
Okay.
Yeah.
Kimberly, do you feel you can provide input so that they can move this forward?
Not, in addition to what I've already said.
Okay.
If I can say, when we left here, we were clearly directed to go through zoning, planning, all of the hoops that we have had to go through. They sent a letter, the last planning board sent a letter of recommendation to this board saying that they believe in it. We met every criteria so far. And I remember Al specifically saying, if you can get through all of that, then we will sit here and have a consideration of what we're doing. But it was never said to us, this is never gonna work. So you're gonna go through, and so we were taking the advice that we were given to make it less ornate.
We feel led along a little bit. I
Yeah.
think it's and I know we can't rehash what happened.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. It's an ongoing, again, I was not here. Kate has expressed that she expressed herself then as well. It has been a point of conversation among people, I think even at the last meeting when you weren't here, about, has it been through zoning? Has it been through this? What board should go first? That is not, unfortunately, we don't have control over that process. In ideally, village council would be like, step one, X, step two, Y, and step three, Z. I mean, that's how that should be, but essentially you can apply to all of us at the same time, and we have to consider it completely independently. I think the struggle, as I kind of understand it, even though I wasn't there, was when you didn't have the approval from the other boards and we have a packed agenda, how much time are we committing to something that could very well just go away because it's not allowed? So in that way, in prior applications, it does feel like maybe we should be last to consider something, because once you have all the other approvals, then it is really the design aspect and component of it that we should be considering. And other times it has come to us, and if somebody gets a positive feedback, then they go to the other board and say, well, historic board, they thinks that we should. So it can impact other the way that other boards may or may not react to something. So I think that's probably a good deal of the hesitancy, maybe to have come out with a stronger opinion. Possibly, I wasn't there, could also be coming from that place also.
Yeah.
So Al, I
Just-
think, yeah.
Yeah, just to amplify what Todd is saying, we have a long history where each board looks at different things, but they have an impact on the overall design. So, the question really becomes who goes first. And we've had instances where we have reviewed something and we thought it was great, and it was sent to another board and they said, no, there's no way it's going to happen. So I think, we are always vigilant to the possibility that just because we have given approval, that the applicant automatically has a building permit. That's not the case. There are a number of different things that need to go into it, and unfortunately, it becomes, with a complicated project, it becomes very difficult because there may be some back and forth. And I've been on this board a long time, and I've seen it happen a number of times.
It's the thing I'm struggling with the most right now is that I didn't leave the last meeting thinking we got to scrap this and start again. And now it seems like that's essentially what's being said here. At the very least, we have to redesign a new building of some sort.
And that was never implied.
That's the hardest thing to
The only
swallow.
thing that was implied was that this was too.
But but I don't think, okay, so what was submitted, if that's still too ornate, I mean, where do you go from there? I mean, I don't understand why us saying that the building as proposed is still too ornate, condemns the entire design. It doesn't. It just means that you need to change it, and you need to look at how the various members all come together. Now, but the thing is that now that we have all of the zoning issues and all the other aspects of the project worked out, there may be some sessions where we have to sit down with you guys and perhaps a workshop, which gives us a little more freedom to talk about the various different things which could be changed to make it more appropriate to the district. And so, because a lot of the issues that you said,
Workshop meeting is the right course of action here. I think we have a really stacked agenda tonight, and we're going to be here until midnight at this rate.
Right. Well, that's the reason why I mentioned workshop, because I think that ultimately, what we have been successful with in the past is sitting down with applicants and spitballing various different ideas and how things are handled. So that's what I would suggest.
It would be interesting when we're talking about monuments, we're talking about signs. Those are of no issue to us.
Sure, yeah.
Putting them in a proper place, we have no aversion to doing any of that. I guess when you show the picture of the train station when it was in great shape. And a, clean, beautiful, pure, nice building. If you were to compare that building to this building, you would see less of a contrast. When you're comparing this building to a rundown old train station that has a caboose and has just been seriously neglected, you would see less of a difference in the quality of the buildings.
Oh, but let me ask you a question. Why is the old station severely neglected? I mean, doesn't the owner want to maintain it?
He's a brand new owner.
Yeah, I mean, yes, absolutely, I do.
That's what we're trying to do.
But at the same
All
time,
right.
it's been a restaurant for 40 years. And
Okay.
so there's I mean, almost all the things that have been done to it, it's nothing to do with me. You get to a certain point where you can't, there's only so much you can do to.
Okay. I,
keep-
I've been in that.
Can I propose that we have a standalone workshop
Sure,
meeting,
yeah, absolutely.
on another evening, and I think we could get into it a lot more
Okay.
freely without having a
Yeah.
lot of people. Yeah,
Sure.
I think that would be the best course of action.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
All right.
okay. So
I
Al
agree.
will talk about that offline, and then we can propose some dates.
Right. Well, let's pick some dates and let's have a standalone session to go over the design do workshop.
Flip it up another time. Right?
Yeah, thank you.
Do you want to stay with you guys?
You want all of them, or
Or you think you
just
want-
one copy of each to stay?
Oh, please move quickly.
Okay,
Sure. Thank you.
thank you.
All right. Are we going to pick a date for this workshop?
I think we can do that offline and propose a few dates after we get Lauren, because she's not here either. Is that all right if we
Okay.
just kind
That's
of
a good idea.
do an email
Yep.
chain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, 37, yeah, you guys are up.
Okay.
Oh, this is all set, that's all. Can I put it off to the side?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah,
No.
I think you do have our sets and elevations. And then Abigail asked for an existing, which I did, that was. And I did log into Zoom, so I've got some of the stuff we can flip to full size, but I also sort of have it organized
Oh,
on
all right.
PowerPoint, so. The,
But you just wanted to record us here, and it's remotely.
no, that's not, we're all sitting here all the time. I just wanted to relive it 3 times. Pleased to be here with you all. Al, I hope you recover and look forward to seeing you again back here sometime soon. I will mention, I know it's not the agenda item, but just as to the agenda, the last time I saw y'all, the paint and signing on 72 names. We post meeting, talked to tenants, came to the agreement. There was the agreement here. Researched, found, went down a rabbit hole of science on paint removal from brick.
It is also already peeling too, so it
Yeah.
was latex paint just put on the brick, yeah.
That's what they use.
Yeah.
I think that's right. But went through a whole bunch of stuff, ordered materials, we got them, we're gonna do a test patch to make sure, and I think Kim, is your point, sort of make sure what we're doing hopefully doesn't impact the patina of the brick. Yeah, absolutely. So well underway, et cetera. Okay, so Abigail, I think the way this gets to happen is I get to ask for permission to share somewhere. I'll do that. Hold on here. Share. It will ask for permission. Oh, did you already grant me permission? Oh, look. Okay. Share. Sorry, y'all. I promised to go up there. think I'm sharing. There we go. I think it's-
You wanna know something? You wanna exit the meeting and rejoin?
Oh. Okay. Sure. Well, and we can get started. I want to make sure we don't eat time, and if we need what's here, I'm happy to do it. So you want me to leave?
Or check if your audio is connected.
It's not. Should I join in with computer audio? I can do that. Keep myself muted. Maybe that does it. Share. Let's try this one more. I'm happy to just proceed. I did that in the effort of efficiency. I think this hopefully isn't too time consuming.
Brian, which property are we talking about? I'll look up the files that are on.
Yep, this one is 37 Main Street. Oh, there we go.
The yellow building at the bottom of the hill.
All right,
AKA
good.
the Tyvek building. I was asked to speak briefly to sort of historic condition, et cetera, for clarity. There was some confusion with the new code enforcement officer who believed that when he looked back at the old photos and he saw the building had been wrapped in Tyvek, that the siding that he saw was bright and springy yellow was new siding on top of the Tyvek. That is not what it is. That is the historic siding, just clean. We took the Tyvek off. As the large Ziploc bag that was on the building. We took that off and we repaired, patched, and after doing a fun village paint survey, which I got a ton of very exciting. Okay. So this property, what we were proposing here has a few different components. Let me make sure it feels like a little bit delayed there. There we go. Okay. This is some, before pictures, and then little introduction. You'll see in a second. We're respectfully submitting the narrative in support of the exterior upgrades at 37 Main Street. Currently zoned B1, general business. Our upgrades are detailed in the following pages, but I believe they conform to standards. But as with the last time, I'm very eager to hear any feedback, adjust as needed. These improvements will facilitate the relocation of Angie's Bake Shop and Cafe, a beloved Cold Spring institution that has operated successfully for almost 4 years further up Main Street into a building that has been sitting neglected and suffering from demolition by neglect for several decades. Our request ensures the continued presence of the longstanding and proven small business, but also activates the neglected property that has been dormant and in disrepair for well over 15 years, transforming it into a safe, welcoming, and vibrant cafe, providing clear and lasting benefits to village residents and visitors. While it's locally been known as the Tyvek building for many years, with your support, we hope to turn it into a new building with a different reputation that is much more appropriate for our beautiful and quaint village. Rationale. So the things we're doing, this is sort of a little bit of a deep dive at sort of like one category of change at a time, and I'm happy to jump down to, this is a little bit delayed from when I jump, but I can walk you through where these changes are happening, right? So the first one is the window relocation along the east wall, the Lund Terrace side. And I will, Al, I don't have handy oh, you know what? I do have, here you go. I think it will update here in a second. You'll be able to see what we're looking at here, which is the existing, it's this existing conditions. So if you look at the lower half of on my screen and what should be up there soon, you all don't have the existing condition. This is what Abigail asked me to bring. This is what's there now. There you go. Okay. So if you look at if I step up and point at the screen, or I think my mouse is so delayed. So existing windows are here. This is as shown. These two are remaining exactly in place. And then the plan is to replace this with a matching window to match style. Put a new window down here, one window. So pulling out the two and putting in one window that also matches the same sizing and styling. And then relocating this window and relocating so it aligns here with that, so that it also vertically aligns and matches with it. So then you have a 3x2 grid of the same windows on the same side in sort of a conformity. I stopped sharing somehow. anyway, so that's the proposal. So as you look in your plans, that's what you'll see on that one side, is those windows matching the first category of change. Any questions on that? I think that's probably the most controversial one, I think. Why are we moving the windows? There also, as you can see on some of the photographs, there are numerous other window holes in the side of the building that exist there now. We did, and also the code enforcement officer believed we put those in. We did not put those in. Those were pre-existing, just covered. And so the intention and plan is to create a more aligned and standardized approach to the side of the building.
So it's just for aesthetics.
It's for aesthetic. The windows that are there all need to be replaced from just they have deteriorated. You know, the building has seen better days more than recently. So they need to be replaced anyway, and the thought process here is to replace them with matching windows that sort of match the rest of the building, and move them into alignment from a perspective.
So historically, when windows were put in buildings like this, they were put in as a functional purpose
For the
like,
interior.
for the interior, without regards to the exterior, and to our modern eyes, it looks out of place, but that's actually in context with how these buildings were designed, so that it served the purpose of the interior of the building. So
that is correct. I don't have a strong feeling about this. I think that both the way that it currently exists and what is proposed are okay. I think
A quick question I have. The elevation, I was just looking at the plans that had been submitted, and so I'm just trying to get oriented. But the window changes are all along Lund Terrace?
There's two in the front. The two in the front are just replacing in kind in location.
yeah, we haven't gotten there yet.
We haven't moved to that category of the replacements, so sort of like the style. I was focusing first just on what are relocation. But there are two on the front that are being replaced with, you know, in kind direct replacement.
Okay, and all right, I see that. And then on Lund Terrace, there are a bunch of smaller windows which are being replaced with windows of all the same size.
Correct. So in one location, sort of the lower left, the two windows were the plan had been to consolidate them into one.
Right.
And then the other sort of in the middle on the lower level was adjusting slightly to be in vertical alignment with the upper story window, and needs to be replaced, and replacing it with window size to match, which is a slight upsizing of the window. And then the others are the top left is changing to match style.
They will all match the windows on the opposite facade.
Yeah, and the whole back of the building.
And the back.
Yeah.
Right.
And then also the new windows on the front that, from a manufacturing style methodology, while the lights or sort of like the styling of the front windows will be different. Yeah. You know, and Kim, you raise a good point. If we have an interior reconfiguration that's happening on the inside of the building. And that is also part of what is driving the window change. So we're sort of bringing those changes to what's happening on the outside, but trying to do it and being intentional about marrying both the look and aesthetic from the exterior, as well as the look and aesthetic from the interior.
All gone.
Right, but they're, right? I don't mind the alignment. I like the playfulness of these. Right. random existing openings.
That's one of the things I actually like about the building is that, wow, none of these windows actually line up, and why are they there, and why are some smaller, and why are some bigger?
I do kind of like that. I think with the new proposed configuration, instead of these mirrors, but there's I think a facing that feels a little bit extreme here. And I'm not sure, I mean, this has one in the middle and this has another one. Maybe there's a greater distance than you would expect for optimal interior lighting, to be reflected on the facade.
The new one, this one shifts over here in the new,
Okay.
so it's sort of, we attempted to sort of like, this is existing. But then now it is more symmetrical in a few different directions away. This is actually sort of demonstrating where existing is.
That one might be.
Yeah.
It is a large facade for so few windows, so I do hear what you're saying about the existing configuration. Adding a little bit something to that. Al, do you have any thoughts or?
Well, I guess the only question really that I have is the business about is there any realistic expectations that we can salvage any of the existing windows?
I think the windows on that facade are not, there may be one that's original, if that. The 2/2 or even the 1/1 all the way on the left. This
Okay.
one
So
looks that looks very,
That's remaining.
that's remaining.
Yeah, that's remaining.
This one here,
No, the one.
No, sorry, you're
Oh, okay.
pointing at that one. Okay,
I'm
sorry.
pointing at this one.
So not
Correct.
the 606?
These are, no, these are replacement windows, aren't they?
Those are vinyl.
Yeah.
Oh,
So what I will say is I don't know that what is there now is actually historic as we look at like and think about the history of the origins of the building. I think these may be. And then you've got some things that are punched in. I think this, and Ross, you can chime in, but I think this one is original. And I think this one is original in location. And I think this one,
These two were done the same side, same time
as
as
sort of
the
the rest
back
of the building.
and the railroad facing side.
Yeah. Stickers on them.
Yeah, well, they've
still
been
do.
there for like 16 years or whenever it was done.
20
yeah.
years ago.
And the 6/6 is that's what was put in, and that's what you're.
This one,
those are fine.
Well, no,
Yeah,
for
these-
sure, and I
these
agree
were-
with that,
yeah,
but I'm
these-
saying you're using the 6/6 from the sort of newer windows to match them. Is there a reason to stick with that? If you're because you're replacing them all on that, or you're not? You're
Just,
these remain,
yep, these two remain.
Okay,
and
so
then
that's the goal. 'cause
these
these-
four.
Since these exist as vinyl and
Yes.
brick road exists as vinyl, and they're 6/6.
I don't think they're vinyl. I think they're aluminum
aluminum-
clad.
they're aluminum
They're
clad.
aluminum
Okay,
clad
yeah,
over
aluminum
wood.
clad. Yeah.
All of them are,
Are
which is
harder
what
than
we're,
aluminum clad.
which is what we're proposing is I would, not trying to, but a high quality aluminum
Yeah.
clad, double hung, 8/8.
Oh, sorry.
That's all.
First meeting.
And so the plan is to essentially replace these four windows and the two on the front, no location changes on the front, but replace them to match the same aluminum clad wood, double hung, high quality window, but with the historic sort of manufacturing style, not vinyl.
Right.
And
And the 8/8, you're
Yeah.
choosing because that's on the window that you want to keep.
correct, that's
And
right.
it's on the rest of those types of buildings.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Do you have a strong opinion on maintaining the original openings and sizes? Get really.
All the same size, that's part of the charm of this building, because that the windows are not aligned and they're all different sizes, but we don't know
What's the
what was put in when and where.
Japanese artists are repairing things with the gold
Yeah.
paint, yeah,
It was the same as the pottery charm.
yeah, the pottery charm. Anyway, I know,
Yeah.
is perhaps, and again, I may defer and ask Ross to chime in, but like, I think what I hear you referencing, Kim, because I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I happen to be someone that, is of everything square and organized, study architecture myself, and like, that was my aesthetic and design, and that's what my desk looks like. That's what my garage looks like. But I married a wonderful woman that is the whimsical and the thing that is her aesthetic, and I live with it and I love it as well. And I hear what you're saying and I understand it. Perhaps keeping the two smalls helps hearken to that.
I think so, yeah.
Say again.
It might, actually. I hadn't even started seeing where this was going, but I like that idea.
Because I think, and Ross, correct me if I'm wrong, and I may have to pull up the interior floor plan. I think that will work with if we kept for the bathroom. Looks into the existing bathroom.
And they can be adjusted too, I would assume.
They may need to be replaced windows.
Yeah, I think
But what I hear principally is location asymmetry and size asymmetry, creating, variety and diversity of aesthetic. Yeah, okay. I think that's doable. And I would probably just go with the same window manufacturer, same.
yeah, and you probably
finish. It will not be 8/8. That would look awkward. It'd be probably, it may, I'll measure. Yeah, it probably would be 6/6.
I think what's there.
I guess what I would ask
what's
is-
there works. I think what's there works.
6/6.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Just, yeah.
So-
Was that,
Yeah.
I walked by and I'm like, why did they put that window in?
Sure, what's the story there? Yeah.
Wabi sabi.
Oh, wabi sabi, there we go, that's the
Not
term.
the term, though, it's a different term. I'm curious if are you like just loving this, or are you thinking, what are we doing? How are you feeling?
You talking to me?
So where we're headed is
East side.
keeping the two small windows on the lower left that are currently there and replacing the remaining ones with 8/8 windows to match the rest of the two other facades.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that I'm just going over in my mind is consistency in the appearance of the windows. For example, on the front, we're talking about those three large windows on the front facade. Those are all existing to remain, right? They're going to be refurbished. And,
Correct.
Correct.
We feel those are important to refurbish.
all right. Are they insulated glass?
No.
No.
Okay. So then the new windows that we're talking about, the two new windows, those are going to be wood clad windows, am I correct?
Yeah, I think
Aluminum.
aluminum clad wood, but yes.
Right.
So it's aluminum on the outside and wood on the.
They want to match
Yeah.
what's already been replaced 15, 20 years ago on the railroad side and the rear side of the building. Right.
Okay, well, that's all nice and good. To me, the facade that has significance is the front facade.
Mhm.
And I'm just a little concerned about the windows that are being replaced on the front facade. And I understand the logic for the clad windows on all of the other facades, and the changes that we're making. There's really nothing magic about where the windows are located, but I guess I'm just concerned a little bit with the front facade.
Yeah,
If
we were trying to tackle, we were gonna go there next. So we were trying to tackle Lund Terrace side first, and I think in general, we are in agreement of replacing the what is it?
1, 2,
1, 2, 3,
3.
4, 5.
Those are there and
Yeah.
staying.
These are
Those are existing and stay.
these do not match what's on the other side of the.
Yes, they do.
These have fake divided light in between the pieces of glass. These do not match the other windows. The Muttons are fake divided light in between the panes of glass. They are not the same as what's on that side. Yeah, those are simulated divided light surface mounted to the glass. These are not. So these two windows,
These are not surface mounted. What do you mean surface mounted?
yes.
These are,
Oh, okay.
those are.
This is on the railroad side.
Yes.
See these divisions?
Yeah.
They're outside of the glass.
Oh, okay.
This is inside the glass. These are white, those are not. So these do not match those windows. To me, these two are as important as the remaining windows on that facade.
To replace, to match.
To match the other
To-
ones.
to match
So
their-
one, two, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be all replaced to be the same, and these two are smaller. Yeah. So that is not the same as what's
Oh, I
around.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good catch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't catch.
Yeah.
Good catch.
right?
So,
Correct, yes, that's,
Okay.
thank you. I wouldn't-
Yeah, I
so
wouldn't have caught that.
I'm just gonna say that back out loud.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
8/8 to match what's existing
Okay.
elsewhere in the building.
And then 2.
2, 6/50.
They,
Yeah,
yeah.
And so these will be in alignment,
I'm okay with that.
and then this will remain as is, and the two windows will be below
Yep.
as
As is.
existing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
And then this little opening goes away and that one goes away.
Yes.
Right? So
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
actually are, we're doing it for the.
I'd like to compare.
Yeah.
cool. Okay, onto the facade.
Okay.
Front side. So next topic, we sort of talked about matching this style. We've sort of done that. The front facade includes essentially matching what's there with just new windows. Oh, these,
So the two windows on the first floor are not,
original.
they are not original.
What I will add or maybe preface with is I'm open to a different, to a different guidance.
I think that if we are doing aluminum clad wood on the rest of the building, that if possible, these would be nice if they were wood windows that would be painted the way that the top three are.
Mhm.
I think that would be a pretty valuable addition to the building. I also think that they should probably either be, they probably want to play with what that looks like, but either 2/2 or 4/4, so that the panes
They're
kind of relate to the upstairs windows.
I mean, but is it right now what we're looking at
They're a little confusing because there's a screen
it's a
there.
screen.
Yeah.
And so that
I know.
creates a weird visual.
Yeah.
It's hard to look at it, see what's there.
So whether it's,
They're this style now.
Yeah.
I think that's 2/2.
They are 2/2. Right?
But with a horizontal division.
Well, I guess my question is that a unglazed wood window, rather a single glazed wood window is going to look different from a metal clad double glazed window down, on the lower part. And I think that is a problem to me.
I think we're headed towards not a aluminum clad window to a solid wood window on the first floor. Those two windows
For the front facade.
Yeah.
for the front facade, since the top three are staying and being restored, I think we're headed
Right.
towards.
And I guess, the issue is whether or not it's insulated glass or single pane.
I don't have any. I don't have an issue. I mean, that you're keeping the storm windows, I would assume, upstairs, so you're gonna, it's not reading as, a single pane window on its own already. It has a layer of glass on the exterior for the upstairs, so I don't think visually that is going to be odd to look at if there are insulated glass wood windows.
Well, the thing to keep in mind is the fact that this front facade is right there on the street. It's very visible, you know, there's, typically we wind up dealing with, you know, for example, if the building is set back off of the street a certain distance, you're allowed a certain amount of leeway, but this is right there in front of you. And so I guess if we're replacing the two windows on the first floor, I guess my question would be, can we replace them um, with single pane glass and provide a storm window for them also?
I like that idea.
What, like an interior storm window?
No, and I think.
They're like the
Wood
the upper ones, yes.
Yeah, historic and.
Yeah, the problem with that is that, listen, I mean, you're not gonna talk to somebody who has more of an opinion on historic windows than me, for the record. I think that
You hold the title.
when you start to think about usability, as well, that becomes a little problematic on a storefront. You know, they wanna probably be able to open these windows, if you're then opening an interior window and then having to go outside and lift an exterior storm window off, it does become a little bit of a problem. Not to mention that, you know, just because a storm window's there doesn't mean that it's gonna stay there or be maintained. It could break. At that level, I don't personally have a problem with the double pane window. I think it being wood and I think it being painted to match the wood windows directly above it is a priority for me.
I might add one other factor in, just, you know, while it's sort of being considered, you know, part of what I'm doing with this building and I've tried to do with some other buildings is really showcase what can be done working with a company called Building 475. Based out of Brooklyn, that is you know them, a sort of a thought leader and innovator in not tearing down old buildings, but knowing and learning how to work with them. So for example, you know, and so that is both from a historic preservation as well as, you know, energy and energy consumption, but really also larger sustainability, right? Like in a lot of ways, it's easier just to rip and replace it and order something from somewhere else and have it delivered and dropped in place. That's what we're trying to do, right? So this building, the reason it's sat with Tyvek wrapped around it is because it doesn't have a vapor barrier. But we've done a tremendous amount of research and worked and done an interior vapor barrier methodology that allowed us to retain the siding on the property, which without having to like rip it all off and just replace it kind and actually keep some of that character and all the pits and scrapes and all the sort of, you know, all the little scars and bits that are history. And so the only thing I would sort of say that comes back to the window, storm window, single glaze, double glaze topic is I am trying to achieve a certain amount of sort of energy efficiency within the building because the sustainability angle aspect of it is pretty important to me. So that is one of my goals. And so Al, the only thing I would say is that, you know, from a single glaze plus storm window, it still doesn't, even that doesn't achieve the air retention and heat retention of double glazing. So I just put that out.
I think it would be a different conversation if we were talking about these two windows being salvageable and or original to the building, which they are not.
Right.
The upstairs windows are, and
Yeah.
it's a different conversation.
I mean, it's
Well-
technically, if you do have a single glaze window with a storm window, it has the same U value as a double glaze. But that being said, there are modern double glaze windows that you can add, like IE glazing
Low
and
E,
things like that too.
Yeah,
That you can't achieve with that.
with the storm. That's sort of what I mean, yeah.
Or else the other thing is that we can have an interior second glazing, which is you know, installed on the inside as opposed to the outside.
Yeah, but then they can't operate the window from inside and they're operating a bakery and they probably want their street fronting windows to be operable. Yeah, I have interior storm windows on my entire house. They come off seasonally. It's a bit of a chore.
All right. I won't fall on my sword on this issue, but I strongly support anything that you can do in order to keep those two windows looking a lot like the upper three windows. You know, I think that the proximity to the walking public, especially right there where, you have that's where the people from the train station come out. And so, it's a very prominent building.
I agree with that. I think I'd be okay with double glazed, but if it could be full wood with a wood screen too, if you could submit that. Maybe approve some of the other windows. Good to see that again.
And you're playing with 4x4s, 2x2s.
Oh, yeah.
Is this something that you carry across, or is it too busy, or?
I think
I don't know.
I think this reads pretty separately. Do you guys agree 4/4 square? So the panes are more square, not true square, but more square yeah. Okay. Okay.
So not, I'm just gonna say it back out loud,
Yeah.
not aluminum clad.
Solid
Double
wood
hung,
construction.
solid wood construction, 4/4.
2, sorry.
4/4.
To match this.
Oh,
Yeah.
but they're much smaller, right?
They,
Okay, I think
I-
it's 2/2, but I don't know, maybe we need to.
I know, but I don't know. I think 4/4.
Maybe you're.
Here to help.
Right?
Maybe.
You make a great man.
Yeah,
All right, Todd, you're going to take a vote on this?
wait,
Are you-
sorry, but we also.
Well, first,
There are a
we
couple
need a
of.
motion.
Thank you.
We,
There's more to it than just those
Yeah, I
windows.
know it's late.
Okay.
I will try to go fast. The next piece is a sconce,
Yeah.
which you see the locations of throughout. On one of the pages is sort of the sconce detail, and I can set it for the. There you go. Part of the aesthetic here, I've, read the notes, historic district design standards, and focus on fixtures that sort of were period relevant, also downcast lighting versus upcast, no strip lighting, etc. Also, this is not part of our village code, but I do astrophotography as well, and I chose fixtures that can conform to dark sky requirements. If we can go chat with our friends over at West Point. But anyway, back to this topic. So that's a few of the aspects of the light.
Why, are there lights on the east facade?
The one
And why are
side.
there so many outlet locations?
Outlet locations was to bring power to the outside. We can reduce the count. Some if that there's a preference around the count. The lighting, so on, I have it here, but you don't have it here. But sort of the longer term plan for the building includes a phase 2, which I know is not the consideration of this conversation in this meeting. Only the things here are, but to just answer your question, I'm looking at the correct side. So the Lund Terrace side, where there's sort of grassy area with a lot of ivy on the ground. We'll be submitting for doing an expanded hardscaping, so there's seating on that side. And so we want to create safety and navigation lighting around the full building in a cohesive design and style that will be supportive of that.
I thought maybe that,
Yeah.
And sorry, I didn't open it, there's just.
I don't have.
Those elevate, this feels. It's just a lot, 3, 4, 5, 6 sconces and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 outlets that are sort of pockmarking the facade. I don't know if when you do the hardscaping, can you get in more expensive ground, but I mean, how will will you have tables tied up against them? Are you looking to do, how will these be utilized?
I'm pretty flexible on this, so I don't mind. I'm just going to narrate a little bit for Al. So Al, we're looking at the east side on Lund Terrace, and Kate was commenting on reducing the count of power outlets on the lower section of the downstairs facade. The current brick that sits here now, again, phase two, we'll be seeking to reclad it around the east, south, and west side of the building. And at that time, I think I could put outlets that sit, because where the hardscaping level comes in, it's like right near the wood, but I think there's probably
There's probably 6 or 8 inches of brick.
that there will be enough space that I could run it and have it not be on the wood facade. It would still be on the facade of the building. Yeah, it won't read as loudly, especially with the yellow coloring, right? Like anything pops on the yellow, even if you paint it yellow. Yeah, I did choose some historic fixtures that have, whatever, but I'm happy to shift them down to essentially sit below the wood. They're still on the face of the building, but the
outlets.
would be, yeah.
That would be great. And then maybe it's hard to visualize now because you don't have your exterior state, but it would feel weird right now to have these lights go up and they're sort of lighting up the side of the building.
They are not high lumen lights, so they're not bright lights, but to your point, it is a fairly large expanse. And so I think, Jamie was here. He ran away. I am happy to sort of look at it. I think they sort of space them based on the recommended tone of light and the fall and sort of like overlapping cone. With that.
I guess my question would be, aside from the street along the terrace, we really wouldn't expect people to be walking there, right? There's no sidewalk or anything like that.
We will be putting hardscaping on that side, on what is the Lund Terrace side. And so we're
apply for that.
right. And so we're just planning for it now. In when we're doing all the electrical runs and lighting on it. And if I were to sort of ask the feedback question, do you have a preference of over window or not over window? If we were trying to thin the count down, which is the feedback I hear. Is it?
Well, you're gonna end up with two smaller ones here, so you don't really want two right over those windows.
So it's sort of like 1 skip, 2 skip, 3 and skip.
I think that feels better. It does seem like you could, it wouldn't be,
Who said skip?
skip. I think that would be a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will double check from a safety perspective, but from my goal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I have.
I'll take a photo of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna write a note to. I like the fixtures for the record.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
they're-
the fixtures are nice, yeah. So we will have 1, 2, 3, you'll have 3 lights across the facade.
Mhm. And then the driveway side, to me, that makes more sense to.
Yeah, that's really done.
Yeah.
That's for safety. Yeah.
um, That one already, you have that one, and then you'd be adding those two. And same thing with these outlets,
Those, so the phase 2 plan in the front is a porch that extends.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's okay.
No, I was saying you couldn't go below
I
the
don't-
porch.
I don't know. Because the porch basically comes up to, because one of our goals, and this is not necessarily an HDRB concern, but I think residents who probably care, is to make this handicap accessible as a store and as an eatery in town. And the way the sort of site plan works is to create a surface that is basically flush here, and it goes all the way out,
Yeah.
And it actually I've
Perfectly.
we've laser lined it and it lights
Yeah,
up
we did.
exactly at 4 AM, so you can really see the.
Oh, you did that too?
No, I didn't do that.
Oh, yeah, we did that.
And so we can create that. And so,
So you're planning to have a raised patio in the front?
Yes.
Front, okay.
yeah.
So you want those outlets?
Yeah.
So that they sort of need to sit up, I think, into the wood facade, but
It'll be hidden.
Yeah,
There's not that, there's only 3 there.
Yeah.
I think they'll be like, if you were a pedestrian on the street, they'll be tucked essentially like, you won't really like see them because they're tucked very low. They're not sort of standing out on a big, larger plane. I think.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
We can paint it yellow. Yeah, I'm down with that.
I think that's always.
I think first one, great.
You know,
That's
just
always-
like Photoshop the outlets out.
Yeah.
For
I
bullet.
did source ones that matched the metal, which sort of matches there is some historic hardware inside. And so we're sort of matching a metal tone throughout that is.
I can't tell you to paint them yellow, but if you can paint them yellow, that would be nice.
I don't want like gray or black boxes.
Sure.
And these outlets, are you doing stuff here too? This is for like, what are
That's,
those?
those, I think we could do what we did on the
Down.
Yes.
one
Okay.
terrace side, like I think we can move those to here
Okay.
as well. Without issue.
Like, oh, it's not facing good.
Okay,
Anything else that we didn't look at that's happening?
Yeah.
Talk about this.
the door is staying, right?
So, yeah, in the,
Egress, it's, right, this is not the big
that's their current,
That's current.
that's current. The,
Yes, is the rear.
the thing we are doing is replacing the siding on this side.
Yeah.
It's like, a lot of it is almost salvageable and plenty of it isn't. It just suffered more abuse.
Yeah.
For a few reasons, some of the ivy and all that kind of stuff. The measurement of this siding relative to the rest of the whole building is a different dimension. And so we're matching the rest of the building in the dimension of the and style of the Dutch lap siding that matches the rest of the building. I don't know, I believe, this is my
Yeah.
perception, that this side got re-sided at some point because it is not as high quality for like wood, and it doesn't have as many, I think it doesn't have the age to it. It just suffered moisture issues and plant intrusion issues and the shade side under that big,
Do you have an indication somewhere in your proposal that says you're replacing the siding?
we do in the proposal,
Okay.
in the,
Let's just get in. Sorry.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
and
want-
there's, yeah, and then Jamie created, it's not in here, it was a separate document from Jamie, I can sort of show it to you.
The new siding on the Lund Terrace facade will match the rest of the
Yeah.
building's siding,
This is
which is original.
5.5 and the other is 7.5. I
Oh, wow.
believe.
Still be wood.
Yeah, yeah, same wood.
Okay, I had no issue with that. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sort of submitted, it was like a
That's right, I
layer.
saw that.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Sounds good.
And I think, so that's all for this phase of the project. I don't mind answering any questions about like the next phase, you'll be
I think in the
thinking-
interest of time, we are
Totally
all
understood.
deeply curious, but we cannot right now.
Totally fair, I just want to offer.
Al, do you have any further questions or?
No, somebody have a motion concerning this application?
I'm motion to approve the proposal as adjusted, amended,
Voted.
based on the notes that will be submitted by Todd.
Yeah.
All right, now, the only thing is, can Todd, you get the responsibility of putting notes on the
Yeah.
on the drawings so that I can transfer it to the
Yeah.
electronic documents?
Yep. I'll do that.
Okay,
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
aye.
Aye. You've got your approval. Wonderful, thank you all. I'm gonna do, there's one more page, and then we'll get out of your hair. Bills, right?
We'll keep this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any you don't want?
Is
If
this,
it's gonna go in the round file anyway, I will take it and use it as just local reference.
let's leave one clean one for Abigail.
I'm gonna take this.
Sure, see one.
I'll bring it back next.
You can take that.
No, that's not us.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, 197, 199 Main
Thank
Street.
you.
Hi, how are you? Good, how are you?
Jason Litchfield from Dale, actually. Nice to meet you. So, what we're proposing to do is, add new siding to the building all the way around it. And it would be hardly board siding. A lot of sample if you want to see this, but it would be smooth texture instead of the wood
Yeah.
grain. The windows, right now, we have a bunch of mismatched windows on the building, some are vinyl, some are single pane wood. We're going to be changing them all out to aluminum clad black windows. And the trim will be painted black doors. These would be the color combinations in reality. The front porch, right now, there's two separate front porches. The owners would like to combine that to be one continuous front porch to match the rest of the houses on the street. So that way, they'd rather have one grand entrance, and then it is a two-family, so they go to left and right to each other.
The windows are are they just,
Two over, so it's gonna have a single divided light.
yeah, so two pane over,
Yeah, over that.
oh, two over.
Two over one.
Two over one. That looks
Yeah,
like
that's supposed to be, it's supposed to be a two over one to match the bottom. Because on the top, what we're doing, we're adding casement windows for egress, because right now, the existing double hungs don't. But we're making the casements, they're gonna be, they're not simulated divided lights, they're going to be fully divided.
True divided.
True divided, yeah. So the,
Meaning two separate panes on top and one on the bottom.
correct.
One of that windows,
Okay. Yeah, none of the bedrooms, all the bedrooms are in front of the building. There's no bedrooms on the side or the back. But they are gonna be replacement windows, the same size, so, you know, if you don't allow casement, you just make them all the double windows.
You are not,
No, not moving any windows, we're not adding any windows.
yeah. And the mutton will be mounted on the glass,
It'll be
not in between the panes.
correct,
Yeah.
yes, yep.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree on the double hung thing on the facade, sticking to the double hungs if possible. I know they design these casements to kind of fake it, but they don't do a
Yeah.
great job of faking it. So could do that. I think that would be
Yeah,
better.
that'd be fine.
and the existing siding, is it, what is the impetus for replacing it?
So it's a wood clap, yeah, clapboard that it's been patched in,
like,
Yeah, so, and unfortunately, it is acting as the sheathing, so the party would just go right over top of it.
Okay, and then the windows, you're bumping out the frames.
Yep.
The shadow,
The trim,
the trim, sorry.
the trim, yeah, not the frame.
Yeah, the trim's gonna match what's there
Okay.
now, which I think,
It is different, on the one building to the other, right?
yeah, so we're
Or
gonna
you
get
need
it to
do
be
versus-
what the original one was, yes.
Okay, and that's reflected in.
That's on the elevated.
Just
rear,
a simple,
like,
Yeah, so it's a simple 3.5 inch
yeah.
trim. I think the only thing that's different is there's like a little tiny detail on top of the window.
Yeah, that's nice.
A little drip.
Yeah, it's like a
drip edge.
little drip edge, yeah.
Are you keeping that?
We can keep that. That's just a detail for the trim.
I think that would be nice to keep that, yeah.
And nice shadow line.
Okay. I know one of the concerns or just the thoughts that was brought up around the porch, I personally don't have an issue with the porch being from 2 to 1. I think if there's a way to keep the posts that are there, that are the original posts, I think that would be a nice nod to the building. I'm sure people have other opinions.
I do. I feel like so many Coldstream buildings are duplexes and workers' housing with separate entrances. And while it's odd as well, I guess it won't be a single family residence. I understand sort of the intention to unite the space. I think it's really charming and historically accurate to maintain 2 distinct porches. And in some ways, the entrance, the stairs up into a facade feels odd to me. There's not you would expect a central door and that's not the case. So I think I wouldn't vote to approve of that specific adjustment.
Al?
I guess my first question is, do we have, am I muted or unmuted?
We can
Can you
hear
hear-
you.
Okay. So my first question is that, has uh, is the front porch something that needs approval from the village concerning the sidewalk? And the reason we ask the question is because on Main Street, there are a lot of instances where people have built porches or front porches which exceed the lot line. And so, they essentially were building on village property, so.
These houses on this block of Main Street all have quite large planting beds.
No, but
in
even
front.
when we're looking at the signage application on Lower Main, I think we were really surprised that the property line was front porches over the property line. I know there's.
Do you have a survey for the?
We do not have a survey
Because
we're keeping depth the same as the existing.
Yeah, they're
porches.
not planning on expanding.
I mean, for me,
Well-
it doesn't matter because I'm not into it anyway, but depending on where you're going,
Okay, let me ask Abby, have you guys looked at the lot lines? Are they in compliance?
no, we have not looked at lot plan.
Okay. I would suggest, and I'm just proposing this to sort of head off a potential issue. I mean, there are a number of existing porches which were built on village property, but the village hasn't really said anything about it. But you're talking about taking down 2 porches and putting back 1 big one. So that may be an issue for the village if you are over the lot line. And without a survey, we don't know that.
Yeah, so right now we're keeping the depth of the porch would be the same as the existing.
But Al is saying the existing
Mhm.
might be non-compliant, and so if you're, right, so if you remove it, then you have to conform. So we would need a site survey to confirm where that line is.
I mean, is there any reason why we can't put this off and sort of bounce it back to, I mean, the other thing that you really need to have, I would think, is a survey to indicate exactly whether or not you're building on your property or the village property. So, is there any reason why we can't postpone this till October?
Is there one on file with the village? That's something that you can foil.
These people own this house, I think, for a long.
No, they just purchased.
No, sorry, the people before
Yeah.
your customers owned the house for a long time, so they made.
Either way, I mean, if they get a survey, are you open to this change?
I think that the question right now is changing from 2 separate porches to 1 porch across the front.
So I would
Right.
reject
And-
it. Todd seems open to it.
Well, the question, I mean, we can cover it, but I would hold off giving final approval until we get that issue resolved, because, you know, the difference, okay, let's take a look at the plan. Now, the existing shows 2 porches, right? Let me see if I can find the existing.
Oh, sorry, I don't, Kimberly is saying she would reject it. I'm saying I would reject it. So you don't have enough people who would support the change. So is it worth, I mean, I
Maybe we need to-
appreciate looking into where the property line is, but I don't want to leave false hope.
Okay. So who'd you say would reject it?
I would. Kimberly and Kate, and I imagine Lauren would as well.
Okay, and what's the reason behind the rejection?
The historic nature of having 2 porches for a duplex home, workers' home, and the detailing and the scale and the idea that there's not a central front door. So the entry sequence doesn't sort of match up to where those elements are located. It was designed to be 2 porches. And it will
All right.
remain 2 homes at the moment.
All right, well, if you guys are, if we've got 2 votes against it, then why don't we identify the specific reasons and have the applicant reconsider their options, right?
Yeah, I think at this point, it doesn't look like that's gonna be supported by the board. So, okay,
It's okay.
so more of a repair the existing
Yeah,
kind of
we'll-
condition.
I'll
Okay,
leave them there. We'll
Yeah.
paint them the color scheme that we have.
okay.
Beautiful.
Well, okay, and let me toss out a couple of things, because I don't have any problem with changing 2 options or the 2 porches to 1 porch. I think we've actually approved that in other instances.
We have,
But Yeah.
I'm
the-
reconsidering my original statement the more that we discuss this, so I'm leaning towards keeping the dual porches as well. I think the lack of a central doorway, it does kind of make this feel a little bit awkward. So I'm kind of leaning that way as well.
Okay.
I think,
My question really has to do with the exterior cladding. Now, on the front, we've got, I mean, we're changing the siding to hardy board. Is that correct?
Yes.
And if we're replacing any doors, we would probably need information on the what you're replacing it with.
Doors are staying the same. You can see in the photo, it's like a farmhouse looking.
they are different in the photos than in the renders. The left hand or east door has 6 lights and this shows 3. And then the right door has a fan. Um, configuration with 5 lights, half circle.
It would be the it would be the 6 light. But other than that, I think that's, other than that.
So we maintain the left, yeah, the
Yes.
6 light and match that.
Yeah.
So we should just annotate the drawing, that it would be this door, that would be maintained, and
The 2 entry doors.
so the one on the on the east, the current east door would be existing to remain.
Yeah.
And then the one on the west would be replaced to match the east, and that makes sense to me.
Okay.
That's the current east door.
Okay, is there anything else that we would want to point out?
The roof is staying the same.
Yep.
There's
A metal, is that,
That's a standing seam metal roof that was gonna be proposed over the porch, but now if we keep it to the 2.
you'll leave it as an asphalt shingle, okay. Okay.
I've got a question concerning the front porch. It looks like in drawings indicate it's a metal roof. Is that correct?
But if we go back to the 2 porches, we're leaving it as asphalt.
The 2 porches will remain and they will just be repaired and painted in their current
Okay.
state.
And then it looks like there's an addition of a back porch and a ramp.
They're just a deck with a set of stairs on the back of the house.
And the stairs are now protruding past the plate of the facade. So they're visible from the street frontage as is the deck and the rail. That's more for these guys than for you. You already know.
Yeah. What are the materials for the,
Rail and timber tech classic composite in black with glass infill and cypress drink rail. Do we love glass?
The glass railing, yes.
wood posts and wood railing with glass infill? I don't recall having a glass. Al? Not in my tenure.
Al, have you ever had a glass railing come up before? I can pop up in the guidelines. It doesn't.
No, not really. I don't recall. I mean, we had wire mesh, wire cable, but not glass. How visible is the back from the street?
It is visible.
We'll be at the tail end of the driveway, so you kind of look straight down the driveway at the, right? Is that correct?
No, it's between
The
these 2
alleyway,
buildings.
yeah.
There.
Oh, it's the opposite
So you can
side.
see it when you're walking up here. I don't have a photo of that moment, but it would be visible in the same
Okay.
way that, the renovation that River is doing on the building north of Cozy Corner, Hudson Hill, has that ramp that's coming down, you can see part of their porch. It's similar to that.
Okay. Um, um, do we want to give a approved as noted, or we just send them a list of things that need to change?
I think we are, the rear deck is really the last element to discuss.
Okay, porches. A complement the style, scale, and proportion of the building. And railing, use historical types appropriate to the style of the building. Painted composite materials may be allowed on a
All right, I'm going to make a call. Why don't we make a list of the things that need to change and give it to the applicant, and then we can review the revised application at the next meeting in October.
I mean, we're good with everything that you guys tell us to do. So if you tell us to do all these modifications, we'll simply do them.
Are you trying to get this project started next week?
Yeah, we have the application into the building department.
Then we could approve the doors and the siding and.
I think it's just the back deck that is a question, and if it's a matter of the windows
Because
they
it is
give.
glass,
back
right?
weather shield.
I think it's because they see it. from the outside.
Yeah, no, the basement.
No, not all of them, just the
Just
front,
the
so they're gonna
front.
change them to double hungs. They're gonna change so they'll all be double hung windows.
Yeah, and then
Um,
if glass is an issue, just tell us what to use and we will use whatever.
I mean, if it's a matter of just having a wood banisters and railings on the deck. Is that what the concern is on?
Glass feels
Yeah.
often.
A little too modern.
Too modern for this.
Yeah, they just wanted to be able to see the backyard.
Yeah,
So they were
we've done
requesting.
cable and we did it for lower, right, we're doing cable all the time now, honestly. River's done 2 projects with cable.
I would be,
Or else it could be like a mesh.
I'd be more
you know,
amenable
wire.
to the cable.
Okay.
Okay.
I think
More modern.
It's a compromise.
Okay.
So can we approve the bulk of the application, and then can they submit the specs for the proposed cable railing, and can that be approved at the next meeting?
Well, yeah, we can. I mean, what I'm concerned about right now is that what I've heard, there are a lot of changes that they're going to make. I would like to have a set of drawings which incorporate those changes. Now, what we can do is if you guys make a list of the changes on this drawing that are to be made, we can take a vote on that, and then I'll wait until I get up to, and we can send that list over to the applicant, and when they send me updated drawings, I can approve those.
That sounds great. Okay.
Yeah, because it isn't that many, it's not a lot of substantial changes. I mean, the porches are going to remain basically smooth, hardy siding, a black aluminum clad double hung windows, with the muttons surface mounted, not between the panes of glass. The window trim will have a small drip edge at the top to match what is present on some of the current windows. The entry doors will match the east door, and then we have the back deck that will have the cable railing. So we can summarize that I'll summarize that in my notes to you, Al.
Okay.
And then you
All
will
right.
submit the cable
Revised drawings.
details for us, and then that we will review at the next meeting to formally approve. Is that correct?
You can do it off.
No, I think we, if they submit to me revised drawings having all of these changes, including the cable guardrail, then I don't have any problem issuing a certificate of appropriateness.
Okay,
Wonderful.
does that sound good?
Thank you.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve as amended.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All good?
So this gets
Thank you.
Yeah, so we will,
revised drawings.
yeah, I'll summarize everything for Al and then, yeah, once he
Yeah.
has a
And
revised drawing, reflecting on
yeah.
these changes.
When you send it to me, issue it to them directly so
Okay.
that they can
So
start
you'll have
working
a
on it.
copy of it. Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you guys. Cool.
Have a good evening.
You too. All right, Joe.
Good evening.
Surprised to see you in person here. I thought you were gonna zoom in.
I figured get out of the house for a little bit. Safer here than home. with you.
Yeah,
But,
seriously.
I'm here tonight with Harpreet Kaur, who's starting an interior design and coffee shop business as one of the tenants for Butterfield Building 1. But there's actually 2 sign applications for both of the remaining 2 tenants. So currently the building has Dancing Dialogue on the far west space. The parlor's been there for about 2 years now. And the last 2 are ready to lease up and start construction, both at building permits. So Bella's Nail and Spa, they're currently a Cold Spring business, I suppose town of Phillipstown up on Route 9, they'll be relocating down. And then Rose is new. So I think both 2 nice additions to the building. The signage very similar in style in the sense that they're all channel letters. They'll all have a black finish. They're all comparable sizes. There's a little bit of a difference from like the Dancing Dialogue sign was originally approved as a sign that was on a building on Main Street that relocated and actually reinstalled on this building. And then the parlor took, typical serif Times Roman font. Bella's is proposing to match, so the center 2, very, very comparable. And then the end 2, slight contrast, but again, similar color, similar size, similar type of lettering, but a little bit bolder font. And what we're hoping to do with these 2 is actually use the sign band to add some keywords. So for the Spa Mani Pedi and for Rose Coffee and Design, because I think that helps to signal what the business is. So that's what we'd like to propose to finalize the signage on the facade.
Cool. Is this just reading older than that?
It is, yeah, they will match. Yeah, I think it's the Photoshop and the print, but it's a little lighter.
Yeah, here we can see it in elevation.
They would be the same.
Signage recently came up on another building. They had multiple signs and we were questioning, what the code allowed for. And, we did research that since last meeting and it is 1 sign per, storefront. Which to me would indicate that this is a sign for Bella's and this is for Roz. And I think it also, helps you understand where the egress door is. So I don't think that these are allowed, nor would I sort of suggest them aesthetically. This is your main entrance. I can look up the code right now to confirm, but I'm pretty good.
I saw 2 per, unless I'm recalling it correctly.
There's also a requirement based on,
We did analyze that, the linear footage.
oh, great.
Yeah, so linear footage, we're well under that. So like, for instance, for Bella's, we'd be allowed, up to 17 square feet. We're using 11. And for Rose, we're allowed up to 12 square feet. We're using 9. So there's some space in the allowance, but I had thought that sign code allowed for 2 per. Is it worth looking up?
It is worth looking up, I think. I do.
Well, me.
Well,
I don't disagree with.
we don't have any issue as far as the area goes. What we should be looking at are the construction and how it's attached to the building.
Yeah, I think that,
Actually, sorry, just to clarify.
Yeah.
I said they're all channel, all the signs that are proposed for the awnings are channel letters. The signage proposed for the sign band is supposed to be painted like a historic type painted sign.
painted on.
Painted onto the masonry.
Oh, well, then we can't. Painted onto the masonry.
Like a cast stone.
Yeah,
band.
that limestone. know, that Rose that Rose is a little. We don't have, purview over paint, so if the letter, is it already, that is already a painted finish, isn't it?
No, that's a natural stone finish. Well, I shouldn't say natural, it's a cast stone finish. But
Okay.
it's not painted over, so it's a factory stone, manufactured stone finish.
To answer a question about the number of signage, it might depend on where your lot line is. I was analyzing it for Main Street. It says where the building is set back from the front lot line, less than 25 feet, not more than 1 foot sign shall be permitted for each tenant. So if you know that you have 25 feet,
I'm pretty certain we do. I can confirm at the moment, but we do have a site plan back at the office.
In general, painting masonry is a no. We had an issue currently being resolved where somebody painted their signage directly on the brick of the building, and are currently undoing it. So I think that is an issue.
When it's a full cladding of it in paint, I understand that because you're covering over architectural detail, but if it's specific to lettering, it's a masonry type paint that can breathe, there's still an issue.
I think that it also, part of the issue is what happens in the future, 10 or 15 years. Once this, wish you all the success. I hope you're here in 15 years, but if you are not, who is removing that paint? What is it looking like? What is the masonry?
In the tenant lease, they'd have to remove it, clean it. If paint is an issue though, we could change to a mounted letter.
Yeah, I just want people to know what
It is. Yeah, I think it's a little tricky because of the way that the awning projects out. So you don't have, if that awning wasn't there, Roz Coffee and Design would be one continuous sign. So I don't personally know that I would penalize you for not being able to do that because you can't, because of the structure.
What's the construction of the other sign, that dance studio?
Those are channel letters, aluminum style channel letters. These could all be similar, so paint is an issue. We're happy to.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I would say that is definitely an issue. Al, Kate's concern is there being two separate signs. I did kind of suggest that without the awning there, it would really be one sign, but there is an awning, so there's just a visual break there that kind of prohibits the tenant from including the words coffee and design in her signage, unless you can get really creative in a way to incorporate that next to.
Not in a way, I don't think it's legible or consistent with the other signs.
Yeah, I mean, typically what we've done with all of the buildings at Butterfield there, we tried to be consistent in the appearances of the signs within the building. In other words, to a large extent, it becomes a question of overall aesthetics of the building. Is it? I think that we would probably prefer if it was all the same, and all right, drifting off over here. Let me take a closer look at the drawings.
I think the concern that Kate is raising is that is this considered two separate signs, and number one, are they allowed? Number two, aesthetically, does that work that there are two separate signs? And then the other one would be.
Well, the sign over the canopy looks like it's problematic. I mean, is it something that could be, installed on the door?
Why does that look problematic?
Well, because, the question really is that, what are we talking about? Is it at the edge of the awning?
Yeah, but that's what we've already approved down here.
Which was out at the edge, right?
The hair salon, yeah, so it's the same placement. This one will have the same type setting as the one that was already approved. It's more the question of these two elements that are added on. I don't know if can you see this on your screen or?
Oh, I see it. I called up the drawings, and so I
Oh,
can see the, uh, Roz, and I can't make
Rose.
out the first one, but
Rose.
the design. Anyways, I can't. How is that any different than the parlor and the dance studio off on the left? I mean, I
It's
think that
not.
if you're gonna have a sign uh, over the canopy, then it really should be at the edge of the canopy, like we have um, on the
And
other canopy.
That is what they're proposing, so that's not the issue. The issue is the inclusion of the words interior, design and coffee at the far right and Manny and Petty at the far left. That is the issue that we're discussing. The placement and the lettering of the signs on the canopy is not an issue.
So the parlor could come back and request a sign that says hair salon.
Right.
And they could put that between the dance studio and.
Well,
the
they could put
parlor.
that right here
Right.
because they luckily have this entire
And then the
thing.
dance studio could put a sign here. To me, it's no longer a sign with the name of the tenant, but it's it's like a secondary billboard almost. And it's a little bit confusing as far as where the main entrance is, and it just feels cluttered. And so that's my aesthetic view. I appreciate that you have it laid out as far as code. It is 1 to 2 basically. So if the facade is, this is a tenant and it's 34 feet, you generally get like 17 feet as long as it's less than a foot high. Yeah. And you're right under that 16, 17 feet. So you're maxing out this is less than a foot high.
Less than a foot, we're 8-inch letters, so we're actually only coming in at 11.3. So we're fairly underneath that 17. I do understand what you're saying, that the multiple signs, it's a little busier. Yeah, I've seen much worse signage where it gets really egregious. Obviously, that's why this board exists, to prevent that from happening. Both the businesses believe that they would benefit from being able to, put some form of, what they're offering out on the building. One had to ask, can we do window signs and, like illuminated window signs? I said, I'm pretty certain that's not the case, but so it's more subtle than that, at least, versus some type of, electronic.
Since Rose is here, is there a way to flip back to the right?
Let me just also point out that my business is at the corner and there is a bit of a hill. So it is kind of hard to see if I were to put something in the window. I know not illuminating signs, but you wouldn't be able to see coffee and design anywhere. And coffee and design is not part of the name. So I don't want to put it together.
For Cold Spring Coffee Shop, the name's in the.
Right.
But
If it was a smaller secondary font, then it might.
Is there a world where that
Really
maybe for
same
both of these signs, that they are a little.
that's what we have on this one. So we have, 10 and 9, and the other, it's this is 10 because it's lowercase lettering to get it to equate to an 8 on the capital. So they are slightly smaller in height. If you think they need a little bit more differentiation, that's something that could be contemplated.
I was even thinking, I mean, maybe this is too radical, but if Rose was kept in a larger, heavier font and copy and design were to sit, for example, under it in a lighter, smaller font, would it be?
It wouldn't be effective because of the shadows.
The shadow, the awning is not, If it was.
Well, the sign itself would have to come up in full, right?
Oh, and then it props up. I'm not sure
Like
installation
this is the same, this has 2 lines right on top of each other.
does, but if that's facade mounted. On the awning, that gets a little challenging without creating a rear structure to support it that gets very visible. We've done that, but you get this framework that you see,
Yeah.
which is not really attractive.
Yeah.
This is at least a little more elegant.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, so if they can't be put together, maybe there's something to.
Yeah, see, I mean, I think the thing is that you could also have come forward and asked to put Roz Coffee and Design right here.
Sure.
You know,
Oh,
and then it would almost feel, I think, worse, because then you're not, you know, visually you want your signage right by the door so people know, and then would kind of be like confusing, why is it off to the side? And then it's off to the side because they wouldn't let us split it, and they wouldn't let us split it because of the presence of this awning and stuff. So I personally, I think if there was a way to maybe differentiate a little more and have the lettering here and here kind of be more submissive even than it is presented, I think that would help, especially since this is so bold.
Get the hierarchy.
And I think that we need to ratchet back. We're getting too much into the content, and I think that what we need to look at is the construction of the sign and how it's attached to the building. That's what we need to cover, and not get into what is more effective as far as what the sign says. I mean, we'll leave that up to the applicant to, I mean, it's their sign. It's my story and I'm sticking to it.
I have no problem with the content of the sign or how it is proposed. Al, they were hoping to paint it on the masonry,
That we have a problem with.
so we would do lettering the way that Susie's is the lettering installed.
I'm still.
Sorry, Kate.
I'm still learning what our purview is when it comes to signage, so.
It's odd, that's what it is.
Yeah. I would fly though, just to check for, I guess it's for zoning, but, or sign, I don't know where it falls, but to make sure that, that 25-foot mark is, met, otherwise you wouldn't be allowed to have.
We'll have to submit a survey to advocate on the building department. Otherwise, if it isn't, these two signs would just be eliminated by
Okay.
nature of it. Yep. Or be in a zoning variant situation, but.
Right,
Yeah. Okay. Do I have a motion?
Okay, I propose that we approve the signage as noted, and I guess you need to mark up the application to indicate what the comments are. All right? That's what I move that we approve the application.
Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, you're good.
We'll submit an update.
Thanks for your patience. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Didn't have kids, so maybe November, okay, but I would love for you all to come. Yes, when it opens, please come.
Absolutely.
That should be a really nice addition to Cold Spring.
I think so, having a coffee shop up there is smart, yeah.
Interior design, home goods, so yeah, nice combination. So, thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Yes. Right, there were two separate applications, yeah.
Hello there.
Welcome. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for.
We start tomorrow.
What are you getting overtime for this? Time and a half?
No comment.
55 Main is,
Zeros?
So 55 Main Street.
Yes.
Boundary Rose, okay.
Hey. Oh, right, okay. Okay. Here we are. Long last, so we are here to talk about windows, fencing, and the
Faux foliage.
the greenery, plastic greenery.
You have,
Anything from me? Pictures or anything?
Paper?
yeah. I don't see it in here.
Some of these things?
Oh, yeah. Great, thank you.
You know?
Yeah, that'd be great. And you're the building owner. Okay. You're the tenant. Some people know.
Thank you. Yeah. They sit outside with the. Hideous.
We haven't
Faux
gotten to
foliage?
that yet, but they
Okay.
really like something.
Okay.
Okay, so where do we want to start? The greenery? Sure, yeah,
Yeah.
talk to us.
So the greenery I put up as a temporary resolution to, behind that is just all plywood, it gets moldy, as you can see there. The shingles, the rest of the house is asbestos shingles,
Yeah.
siding,
Siding,
what do they call it, yeah. So I really didn't know what to do. I put this up just to make it a little bit better than what it was, and to hide the garbage on the other side. So that's really the story with that. That was a long time ago, like 2 years ago. And
Is there a long-term solution that you have in mind?
I don't really know. I don't wanna put the asbestos shingles up. Maybe some other kind of siding, but then it won't look right with the rest of the building.
Have you talked to the building owner? Would they have anything?
I never talked to them about this, no. I mean, maybe, okay, if we wanted to skip for a second to the fence, I don't know if the fence is. I'm sorry I didn't ask permission, but I thought the fence was like pretty nice with the materials we used and everything. This too is to hide the garbage over on the opposite side.
Right, yeah.
It's, it gets pretty messy over there.
So I think, obviously, these three things we would have liked to have gone over, with you prior to them being done. The fence is a little. I don't mind how the fence looks. It's a bit different for, the district. Is it, what type of wood is it?
It's the reclaimed barnwood,
Okay.
If you guys are okay with that fence, then if I get some more of this material, then maybe I could put that along where that greenery is.
Yeah, I mean, I would even,
Good idea or bad idea?
I mean, I would even say painting the plywood the same color as the siding would.
As the siding, as the rest of the house?
Yeah, like would be a pretty inexpensive fix for it, and not call such attention to it the way that the fake greenery was. And I understand you had that up first, and then some other members of the community kind of ran with that idea. So
And then I said, okay, here we
and
go.
then it's,
And then
yeah.
And, I figured, honestly, I did figure after it was there for so long, nobody cared, and I left it there. Plus, I'm doing a million things every day. I just didn't get around to taking it down.
I personally feel like painting the plywood would,
Close to the rest of the shingle.
getting a fan deck from Benjamin Moore and matching as best you can, would.
It's,
do
if
it
you
for me.
made it without it, and again, I'll do whatever you tell me to do.
I mean, ideally, the owner would match the siding from the building and run the siding down, but I find that probably you could certainly ask.
Can
That
you
would,
get this stuff though?
I don't think you can get asbestos.
no, you can't get asbestos siding, but
Oh,
I'm sure
maybe
there's something out there
similar.
that's similar.
Made out of different material or something?
Yeah.
If that's
Right.
the fact, you want
And
to.
I don't think you want to have asbestos siding.
No, you
No,
definitely
sorry.
won't be able to do that.
Yeah. Can we, we were talking about possibly doing the same wood that you have on the fence against the, well, first of all, am I correct that part of that is being used as an eating area?
Correct, yeah. There's two tables on the side there.
Yeah.
All right, so wouldn't we be better off? I'm just throwing out suggestions. Uh, if you use the wood that you have on the fence on the building, that to me would create a space where you can use the where you can have seating.
I think that the wood fencing a small section of it to delineate and separate your garbage cans projecting out from the building would be
Oh, like this?
like that
That's
section.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel like that would be fine, but against
No.
against the building, no.
I agree with that.
I think-
Not against the building.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? Why
Because
not
it's
against the
not-
building?
It's not building material. It's like putting up I don't know, why would you shove a fence against a building?
It's not
Well,
thin. I
to
mean,
cre-
it's
to-
what, 4.5 inches thick, and then you're having I
Well, no, are the planks that thick? Planks are not 4.5
No.
inches thick. You're
The
talking
planks
about the
are probably-
posts.
probably
Got it?
1 inch.
All right. Ours is not to tell them how to do it. Ours is to sort of explain to them the things that we have an objection to. So,
Yeah, I mean, as far as where the greenery is covering up, I have no objection to the owner matching the siding with a new material painted the same. I think that would be preferable. Something tells me they aren't going to do that because they never had it before. I think that painting that material the same color as the siding is also agreeable.
And he would have to create another structure behind it, because right now it's a repurposed pallet.
So that section, I think if you matched what you've done with the
Okay.
fence there.
Okay.
To be clear, we're talking about
Yeah.
right here,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Kate,
Yeah,
we're talking about
like a 3 foot.
the fence, a fence section going
40
here.
inches, exactly.
And the height of it, can we agree on the height?
Tell you what,
Things don't jump around, okay, we're just keeping but
I think you would want it to,
53 inches high right now, but that's only because of that.
I think you probably want it to match,
No,
to align with that. Yeah,
Okay,
right?
and then our guidelines, I was just scanning to see if this fence does comply or not, because it does feel different to me. And it does note that pressure treated wood should be, may be used if painted or stained.
So this is not pressure
reclaimed.
Not
treated.
pressure treated.
Reclaimed, okay.
Close up here, I have another picture.
We like it, but in this context, it feels so rustic to me. And then the metal post is really prominent.
Did read about metal posts
Yeah,
after the fact, so, may I, try to do something about that to make it less prominent?
I don't know if he sprays it black, I don't know what he does.
Oh.
I mean, it's uniform, it's clean, it has a nice height to it. And can you clad it? You could just sort of bring wood to clad it so
So that it
touches
covers
down.
the post.
clad the The post?
Basically cause this bottom of the post to look continuous. That looks not good.
Well, and you're gonna end up kind of piecing in sections.
Or replace those boards and those sections with longer boards.
Mm-hmm, that's a solution.
And then you can reuse some of that wood for the stacked wall.
Yeah. Would that be possible?
I'm not sure.
Whether you
what
have,
say
can
is
find the,
possible.
whether you can,
No.
well, whether you can find that wood that,
Don't know. I don't know that right now. I was saying if, when I had the suggestion for there, I was like, if I can get this again, I'm not sure if I can get it right now.
the wood, yeah,
To exactly like that, no, because
it's old.
and it's been there for a little while now. It's changed colors. I mean, it'll catch up over time, I suppose. Um. I can't think of anything else off my head right now that would make those disappear.
So maybe, again, sort of given the time, but since we're, I think, proposing that this fence can remain and it's just altering the aesthetics of the structure, that we come back in a month with some proposed solutions for that.
You want,
That we
okay,
do,
Well, no, sorry, that
yeah,
the applicant does, recognizing that the structure is non-compliant, that you come back with some solutions that would make
Okay.
it compliant.
and you would be early in the agenda.
in the meantime, if I do, thanks, if I do get some of this material, and in the meantime, should I just go ahead and do that, or do I have to tell you about it first?
If we agree it now, you could.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if the boards dropped down to
Mhm.
the stone level and covered the metal post, I think that would be a great solution.
And just at the post or the whole thing?
I don't think everywhere, because you then,
Oh.
leaves, debris,
I was
snow.
thinking of even-
Yeah, just at the post points,
Yeah.
right? Because then you're gonna end up, yeah.
Okay.
So if you can cover the metal post, and mounting bracket with wood, if you can find matching.
Al, that sounds okay to you?
I'm trying to see exactly what you're talking about. I found the images that were sent.
So if you can if you pull up this, here, I'll just walk up here. Look,
Hang on. Well, I'm trying to. I lost Zoom, and so I'm trying to find Zoom again.
In there, so you can't.
Zoom didn't lose you.
I know. Well, I hear you guys, but I don't have the image.
Al, I think you would feel good about this solution.
All right, if you guys say so, then
Especially if
I'm
you
willing
hear
to
what I'm
defer.
about to say next is that I'm kind of reconsidering your suggestion around the greenery area, and would it look better if it was matching?
Well,
Really?
yeah, I mean, what I from the images
Whole thing,
from
but like,
Al, what
from
do
the
you?
from the images that I see that were
actually
sent, the
create
backside of the perpendicular fence is wood,
and not a
is the
fence,
same
but just
construction.
planks
So
along the building, and then a piece of fence coming this way.
yeah. So
I mean, ideally,
if along the building, basically you attach it to the plywood, I think that you could probably and maybe what you would need is something to fill in the gap between the vertical boards.
I think
You're saying they'd be,
they'd butt up against each other, or there would be like a quarter, and there wouldn't be like this space. if you had these planks, right, and you line them up and they have a 1/4 inch gap or an eighth of an inch, you butt them together, and there's gonna be a little seam there in between each one. And then you would, so that these vertical boards would get screwed into the plywood, and then this section would mimic this.
Either one.
I guess I mean, ideally, the owner shingled that plywood. That would be my preference, and it was painted to match, but I feel pretty certain that that's not gonna happen.
Well, can we put it out there?
Yeah, I mean, that would be ideal, I think, for you too, then they would be paying for it and wouldn't be any work for you. I think secondary, though, I just am like, the more I'm thinking about it, painted plywood plus a small section of fence almost feels worse, at least if it's a small section of fence with the planks lined up against, kind of creating a paneling along that.
I agree, it looks better than the painted pie, it still feels very temporary, so it feels odd that we would be approving something that's not. That's,
Well, temporary, no more temporary than the current
Correct.
greenery, right?
correct, but it's something temporary that will become permanent and be there in 20 years.
Maybe the next owner will shingle the whole building
I
nicely.
mean, eventually somebody
with
is
some good stuff, you know?
that building up, but yeah, I
Alright, so we appreciate that it's like a stopgap.
Just out of curiosity, the fence, what is the height of the top of the fence?
53 inches.
What?
The height of the plywood where the asbestos shingle meets the
No,
plywood.
I'm talking about on the
We got the
driveway
rim
side.
I think it's under 48, because that was
How high is that fence above the higher elevation on the driveway?
39 inches, but that might just be the posts, actually.
This one is on that? That's right, from the wall up.
That's from the wall, but what about from the driveway, because the wall is part of the height.
Yeah, I mean, the question is whether or not it's a legal guardrail, which needs to be 42 inches.
Oh, you're concerned from the neighbor side, if it's
Yeah,
with the drop down?
because doesn't that wall in effect become a guardrail?
Yeah, but
It depends on what elevation you're looking at. This is on a different grade than that.
so it would be from the higher to the lower. So it would be just like, if you have to do it from here up, it would have to be high enough, but nothing existed prior to there, it's just a drop. So
Right. So you're telling me that there was a dangerous condition prior to this?
There was
I'm
nothing there,
shocked.
right? There was nothing there.
Right.
I
but
know.
I'm
I
saying,
know.
Now that we're fixing it, we have to fix it correctly, right? So it needs to comply.
Well, yeah, the thing is, and this goes back to liability and, issues of getting sued by somebody who fell over, and he gets a lawyer and an architect who will say, well, that fence wasn't high enough, so therefore, you have to pay me $1 million because I sprained my ankle or hurt my back because I fell over. So I mean, it's something that's not our issue. I think what you have there as far as the fence goes, okay, I'm willing to live with it. But for your own, I guess, peace of mind, you should check to see how high that is above the neighbor's driveway.
That's 39, almost 40. So it's shy of 2 inches, right? It's supposed to be 42.
It's what?
What is
Say that
the
again?
the dimension required? Is it 42 inches?
42 inches, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's 42 at least, because it's what,
but it's not from your side, it's from the neighbor's side. If you were like having a drink from the neighbor's side and
Yeah.
leaning on this fence, could you accidentally flip over it? And 42 inches is
so this isn't flat on the other side, so here we
Oh,
go.
it's dropped down to the
Drop down.
pavement.
Drop down, I'd say, without exaggeration, at least 6 inches. I'm gonna
Okay.
say 4. And what's that? 4 would bring me to 43. I think
Okay, we're good. We're
right,
back to
fine.
we're back to the dining area. Our preferred option is that the owner install shingles to match the existing, not asbestos, and paint to match the existing. If that doesn't happen, as a group, are we okay with the fence and kind of paneling along that wall to mimic the fence that's been installed?
Yes, but I would wanna see
Yes.
an elevation of the spacing. But maybe we can agree on the spacing as long as.
Well,
it's-
so this piece
It's the same.
would be that.
But then the one against the wall.
Would
I don't
just
think
be
we want
these
them
lines.
Tight, right? We don't want them too far apart.
I think you do want them tight because they're old and there's gonna be probably an eighth, 16th to an eighth of an inch at least.
Cause it's wood, you know, over time, so that I wanna bottom up. And then there'll be a tiny little space between them. Unless you want me to make
You
a bigger
think there
space.
should be
between them,
like,
which I will.
like an inch or?
Fly behind, but some sort of a reveal.
Well, the thing to keep in mind is that wood is hygroscopic, so which means that when it gets wet, it'll swell. So you do want to have enough of a gap so that the wood can expand and contract based on how wet it is.
Call it like a quarter inch, a quarter inch spacing, okay.
Yeah, I mean, for example, what is a deck? What's the spacing on the boards of a deck?
I'll summarize this and send it to you.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
I should know that, Al.
Okay, so a small fence section will be installed to block the garbage pans, the garbage bins. The plywood will be covered with vertical planks that match the fence, quarter inch spacing between boards.
Right. And probably the plywood should be painted to match the color of the shingle of the asbestos shingles above.
Okay.
Yeah, that's smart. That's your reveal.
Okay, now on to the bigger one.
Well. The only thing I did here was put new trim and this plywood up. These were there. These had painted plywood on them with different trim. One of these windows wouldn't open. So the guys were hot in the kitchen. That's.
They had already shrunk those window openings like that.
It was all plywood, same color as everything around it. So what I did was, it took everything off to fix this window, and it was leaking, it had a little broken drip edge here, and I could put these trim pieces within, so that it stopped leaking.
So the windows,
They were there.
you didn't even replace the windows,
I
you
did not
fixed them.
those. I made it so it stopped leaking, and I actually put a little insulation in there too while I was at it. And now it opens, so the guys aren't so hot in there.
Where are these windows located?
They're down the southeast side of the building. Down by the staircase that goes up to the tenants. I have a picture.
That was already there.
Does you want to see this? Can you see this from there? Oh, wait. Get up. Where am I looking here? Oh,
Okay, there we go.
so it's back over here, back towards the back of the building.
Yeah, they're.
But that's the garage across the way, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Here, I did it back.
Okay.
It's
All right.
backwards. Sorry. It's there.
All right. I guess the question is visibility, and
So Al, Doug is saying that the windows, those windows were replaced probably by
previous
the
owner.
old foundry owners long before, also without permission, and that
right.
what drew our eye to it is the fact that he removed the rotted plywood, which was painted to match the shingles, so that's why no one ever noticed it until now.
Yeah.
And fix the window, so it's just that the wood has been replaced and not painted yet, but those windows actually were not, he did not replace them, they were replaced before him.
And
All right, I have no problem with
I
just
was added.
painting,
the thing I didn't get around to doing.
So I think there's,
painting the wood.
yeah,
So, yeah, I'll paint it to match this.
yeah. Yeah,
I'll do that gladly.
okay, yeah. Add it to the list.
Yeah. No big deal.
Okay. So I'll
We have a
summarize.
motion.
Do we need a
I
motion?
get, well, I guess the only question really has to do with, no, not really, because you know, he's removing the AstroTurf. Well, I guess,
Well, the one question that was gonna be is if you can't find, excuse me, longer, if you can't find longer sections of wood to cover the the posts and the brackets, you were gonna maybe come back with
With a
some other
solution?
suggestion.
Alright.
But
But we do need to approve sort of post installation, the fence and the windows, right?
the windows were
Yeah.
there, so we're basically approving him painting the plywood,
Okay, so then the fence.
the fence.
right. Send me the notes, and what I'll do is I'll issue a notice to him saying this is what you gotta do.
Okay,
All right. I
okay,
think we're done.
thanks
Thank you very much.
Thank you, yeah, for that.
Appreciate
So you'll get an email.
You need anything?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you gotta.
Go open up? Why not? I haven't eaten dinner. Take it easy.
Thank you, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Um,
So I'll just be waiting to hear, right?
yeah, well, I'll
Okay.
send it to Al, cause he's the boss, even though it looks like I'm the boss, I'm not.
All right.
And then he'll send it formally to
Great.
you.
Yes.
All right, thanks a lot.
Cool,
Take care.
okay.
You'll get an
I vote to
official
not do
building
anything-
notice, a
I vote to
notice.
not do anything else on the current agenda.
Wait, Lauren, what is this thing coming up? I just wanna make sure we're not missing it, because we have to get, notices in people's mailboxes. for-
October 18th is Kate Wood speaking.
So we won't have, we'll have that like that.
What day do we meet?
Today's the 16th.
The 21st of October?
Uh,
No,
No,
you're,
you're right.
all right. The only other thing is I spoke with Johanna at the Butterfield Library, and I told her that we want 3 systems set up. One is for the individual building sheets. 2 is for the photographs, and the photographs, wherever possible, will be linked to the individual building sheet. And then the third one would be maps.
okay.
Okay,
Could we hopefully not have, can we talk about that in more detail next meeting?
Yes, we can.
The Kate Wood lecture is on Saturday, October 18th, which is before our next meeting. The other thing is that we need to have a workshop with Depot.
yeah,
So,
maybe we can do that before the Catewood lecture to have time to talk once more.
yeah, that would be ideal.
And we could
Uh,
basically add a meeting, we can do minutes, we can discuss Catewood, we can discuss like everything on the board business that never makes it.
I am, about to be away for basically the 3 weeks between. So,
Like away, remote or away.
like away,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. And I did not mean to suggest a workshop with the intent of not being there, but it may work out that
Yeah.
we,
I'd like to be away for that workshop too.
so do you want to do this now to look at the calendar and pick a day and tell Lauren?
Well,
Because as
well,
soon
let's
as we
pick a,
do leave here and start emailing, it's gonna, all of a sudden, the weeks are gonna go by and there won't be an answer, and we need to, I think
Right.
it is true that there should be a meeting before the Kate Wood thing and also to the workshop.
okay,
Request
so
knowledge.
let's go ahead and pick a date. And if you can check with Lauren, see if she's available then.
Is there a different day of the week, Kimberly, that you're,
Any day, because I have drills on Tuesdays, science drill.
is there another day of the week, Kate, that works okay for you?
Mondays are then for me, okay? We only have the boys, Wednesday, Thursday, and alternating weekends, so I don't wanna miss the boys' night if we can avoid it.
So Monday, the 29th.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, just so I'm following, this is a lecture.
So there's, good question. So we have a lecture upcoming on October 18th. It will be at the Chapel Restoration. The mayor's been working with Lauren on it. Kate Wood is a preservationist. She'll talk to villagers about how to preserve their buildings. And we want to meet before that just to do any final planning. Lauren's basically spearheading it. She does have some questions about like availability for videotaping equipment, if the village has that kind of stuff. So we should probably send you our note, or I can just.
Right. Sorry, my question was really about the date and what it had to do.
So the date, we want to meet before the Kate Wood lecture so that there's enough time to all plan if there's more planning to do.
And also propose as a workshop for the depot people
Right.
to come back.
Just the workshop for the
So-
depot availability for.
No, no other applicants.
No other applicants, but the board did.
Okay, and you said 29th?
The Monday, the
That's
29th.
one of the days or it's?
I think we
different?
should probably be prepared to have a couple days because
That
we
makes sense.
don't know
Yeah.
Lauren and we don't know the depot schedule, so
Do you guys need me there? Cause I'm actually out that week.
I don't think so.
Okay. That's fine. That's all.
If we do minutes, we could do it and just annotate them.
Whatever you prefer.
Yeah. So is there another night that week, Al? The week of the 29th, is there, we're gonna propose for the workshop for the depot and then for the board business Monday, the 29th, and maybe one other day that week.
Would we even do it the week sooner, earlier? Like they're ready to go. I think they're not making changes.
That's true. You could do it the week before.
For the 22nd as an
Okay,
option.
I can do the 29th.
Can you do the 22nd as a backup?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Let's see it.
So we'll propose those to them, those dates.
Those work for you. Okay.
And then I think that's it. And maybe you pick up the legal
Will
frame.
they be available on a Monday night?
That I do not know. Let me check the calendar right now.
You could always, if not this one, this
Um,
one.
The other thing, and we can put this off until next time we meet, need to set up a date for the legal training.
Yeah, the 22nd and the 29th, if there is a room available.
I don't see anything on the calendar. We also got a new website, so I cannot quote. Typically court, I think, is Mondays.
Oh, okay.
In here, but maybe that
That's
other
fine.
little
We can
room
use that
would
little
be
room too,
available.
Yes,
Oh,
sometimes they do use it.
oh.
But I think Mondays might be in the day. I'm not quite sure if it's evening. I'll double check and get back to you like tomorrow. Or if I can maybe reach out to have at least one room rather than. That'd be a little bit better.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
I moved that we adjourn.
I second,
53, we don't want to make it to 11.
I second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. All right. So, Abby, you'll let us know what date we're supposed to be getting together, right?
Well, we're gonna propose Monday, the 22nd and Monday, the 29th, if that works